We're excited here at ESPN because for the first time in our history, we have all of the Sunday night football games, and we begin with one of the venerable rivalries dating back to all the way to the American Football League. The Oakland Raiders against the Kansas City Chiefs, although in recent times, i.e. the 90s, the Chiefs have owned it. Rivalry's great. The newest member of our crew, or one of the new members of our crew, Solomon Wilcots.
Thanks, Chris. You know, lately this rivalry has been more one way than anything else. Since Marty Schottenheimer arrived here in Kansas City, his Chiefs have won 15 of their last 18 games against the Raiders. Last year in Oakland, Andre Rison's spectacular touchdown catch added yet another dramatic chapter to an already storied rivalry. Talking to Marty Schottenheimer, he says big plays have become his team's trademark for beating the Raiders.
I think maybe the other thing probably has been the giveaway-takeaway ratio. Our ability to hang on to the ball and not give it away versus what we can do taking it away has probably been as significant as anything.
Now tonight, the Chiefs will be without their two starting defensive ends, John Browning and Chester McLaughlin. McLaughlin underwent successful back surgery yesterday. We're told it is not season-ending, but there is no word yet as to when he will be back. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, wide receiver Derek Alexander has been deactivated. Tonight, at the tender age of 35, John Gruden will make his NFL debut. He's trying to become the first Raider head coach to win here at Arrowhead Stadium since 1988. Chris?
Jeff George and the Raiders at longtime rival Kansas City. Sunday night football following NFL prime. Elvis is in the building. Elvis Gerback and the Chiefs hoping this is their Super Bowl year. They start against divisional rival Oakland at the top of the hour on Sunday night football.
Thanks, Chris. Arrowhead is rocking tonight, and for good reason. The hometown Kansas City Chiefs host their arch rivals, the Oakland Raiders, on the season premiere of ESPN Sunday Night Football.
Are you ready for some football?
The Oakland Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs have nothing in common except for the contempt they share for one another. All the result of a 38-year war built on big hits and big games. From day one, Marty Schottenheimer identified the enemy, and the Chiefs have spent the 90s scorching the silver and black. 14 of the last 16 victories belong to the reigning AFC West champs. The team of pride and poise has fallen on hard times, having not won at Arrowhead in nearly a decade, a legacy the Raiders want to end tonight.
It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be, no doubt about it, the toughest game of the year for us. And, you know, if we can get this thing done, I think we're going to be something special this year.
It's the Oakland Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs on ESPN Sunday Night Football.
On ESPN. Let's launch this thing now.
Kansas City, Missouri, braced for the start of the NFL's regular season. And a sea of red can only mean we're at Arrowhead Stadium, where a sellout crowd of over 79,000 is here to see their Chiefs take on the team they love to hate the most, the Oakland Raiders. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick, along with Joe Theismann and Paul McGuire. It's great to have you with us for Sunday Night Football on ESPN. You guys ready for a full season?
Oh, it's been a long time coming, man.
We'll find out shortly whether the Raiders are. Last season, they were 4-12, their worst record since 1962. So for the fourth time in 5 years, Al Davis changed head coaches. He hired 35-year-old John Gruden. Now, he's already revamped a defense that was dead last in the NFL against the run and dead last against the pass. It remains to be seen how much improved they'll be. But his calling card is on offense, and on that side of the ball, he is loaded.
He does, Mike. He is loaded, and he has an awful lot of talent. But that talent, again, is in a new offensive system. The vertical passing game is gone from the Raider offense. Here comes the West Coast offense. 3-step drops, 5-step drops for Jeff George. Having a chance to talk to Jeff last night, he was like a new kid on Christmas. He can't wait to work in this offense. And, Mike, he's going to have to get rid of the football pretty quick because he's going up against one of the great defenses in the most hostile environment he could imagine to play in.
And that defense, Joe, #1 in the NFL last year with the fewest points allowed. That's the main reason they had the best record in the AFC. But they have squandered home field advantage 2 of the last 3 years. So Marty Schottenheimer turns his attention to the offense, saying we want to shed the mantle of conservatism. I don't know if I'm ready for Air Schottenheimer.
Well, you got to understand, those 2 playoff games, they scored 7 points and 10 points. And Marty Schottenheimer is very confident that this offense and Elvis Gerbeck can get the ball down the field and score points. Tonight, the Chiefs are playing the Raiders. The Raiders were last in defense last year. And they also have a rookie starting at corner. Not just any ordinary rookie, the Heisman Trophy winner, Charles Woodson. He went to Michigan. Elvis Gerbeck went to Michigan. I said, are you going to give this young man any amnesty tonight? He said, are you kidding? Not tonight. He's a Raider.
You're so right, Paul, and the atmosphere is electric for the 79th renewal of a great rivalry. The Raiders and the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Welcome back to Arrowhead. Let's go to the sideline. Solomon Wilcots and Chiefs coach Marty Schottenheimer.
Thank you, Mike. And Marty, you pretty much have had the Raiders number. 10 straight wins here at home. What has been the secret to your team's success in this line?
Basically, Solomon, we've made some timely plays, and we've won the turnover battle.
All right, thanks, Marty. Good luck tonight. And, Mike, the last time the Raiders won here in Arrowhead Stadium was back in 1988. It was Tim Brown's rookie season. Mike?
All right, Solomon, it has been a bitter rivalry. It is new to 35-year-old John Gruden, but he is already getting into the spirit of it. Greg Davis to kick it away for the Oakland Raiders, and the ever-dangerous Tamarek Vanover is back to receive. And the season is underway in Kansas City. Vanover from the 10. Knocked out of bounds shy of the 30. Here's Kansas City's offense led by Elvis Gerbeck. 14-5 as a starter. Only 3 other quarterbacks since 1970 have won 15 of their first 20. With Marcus Allen and Greg Hill gone, Donnell Bennett is the featured back. Anders the fullback. Rison and Lockett the wide receivers. Gonzalez the rising star at tight end. A great offensive line in the interior. Zott, Grunhard, and Shields have started the last 76 games together. Donnell Bennett behind Anders for a couple. There have been wholesale changes on the Raiders defense. Up front, Harris, Maryland, Russell, who moves back inside, and Johnstone. Folston and Beaker to the returning linebackers. Richard Harvey moves into the lineup a week after being claimed on waivers. And 3/4 of the secondary is new, with Heisman winner Charles Woodson and veteran star Eric Allen at the corners. Turner the only holdover, and Newman the safeties. The Heisman winner, offense and defense right now for the Raiders, defense only. Gerbeck with time and throws complete to the 47, Andre Rison, with his first catch of the new year, covered by Woodson.
Well, we knew Elvis Gerbeck was not going to give Woodson any amnesty, and he's got Rison right out front. Watch this. There's Woodson on him. Rison goes back to the inside. The perfect pass down and in, Joe. He had to catch it.
Rison said he didn't care whether it was Woodson, a cornerback, or anybody else. It doesn't matter to him. Bennett straight up the middle. Donnell Bennett to the Raider 36.
Kansas City deciding that they want to go through the heart and soul of that offensive line. And there's the 2 guards in the center. Take a look at it from behind. You get a chance to see them. Look at that hole. Good job. Gonzalez seals. Shields kicks out. Bennett's running high and hard.
Boy, I'll tell you, Kimball Andrews, number 38, gets a sensational block, and that hole is there. I mean, this is what Kansas City would really love to do tonight, is run the football.
And Bennett is a 235-pound running back. Play action by Gerback. Into the flat. Another catch by Rison at the 29-yard line. Again covered by Woodson. Again beaten.
It looks like the tempo has been set. What they're going to do is continue to run routes in front of Charles Woodson. Get him a little antsy. Get him start to come up. I wouldn't be surprised at some point early in this ball game where they're going to try and run something short and then go up top on him. You get, as a rookie, you want to make a play. He's got to be patient on the corner.
Rashawn Sheehy checks into the backfield. Danon Hughes is one of the new wide receivers. He's 83. And Kimball Andrews with a rare carry. Pounds straight ahead inside the 25.
You know, Mike, one thing about this Kansas City Chiefs, which they've always been, is a strong running team up in the middle. They love to run their fullback. They love to run their halfbacks up in the middle. You talked about, when you've got a great line like this, Joe, you want to work on those guys.
I think too much is made of who is carrying the ball. Great offensive running teams are made with the 5 guys up front. San Francisco, Washington, Dallas, just to mention a few, and Kansas City.
Offensive coordinator Jimmy Race says 95% of running the ball is having a place to run, and those 5 guys up front will give you a place to run. Bennett is back in, and he'll get the ball. Lost his balance. Folston will help drag him down along with Greg Biekert, the middle linebacker, and Richard Harvey.
One of the other things, and it's really no secret about the Raiders, they really do. They have 2 big men in the middle, Maryland and Russell. Darrell Russell, Russell Maryland. They have 2 big men in the middle. But, Joe, when you take a look at the 2 defensive ends and the linebackers, what do you have?
Well, the perimeter only averages about 260, Paulie. You're right. They're not very big. It's going to force Willie Shaw, the defensive coordinator, to take some chances and bring some linebackers and safeties to stop the run.
Gerback with a short set. Throws. Nice coverage by Woodson. Got in front of Lockett. And let's see if it's on Lockett. The crowd cheered when the flag was thrown, but he had great position, it seemed.
You're going to see the right hand of Charles Woodson holding Kevin Lockett back as he tries to move up the field. We figured they'd try and take a shot at him.
Defense number 24, automatic first down.
As Lockett releases up the field, take a look at Woodson's right arm. See that right arm? He just continues to push him. The ball comes down.
What, you didn't think Lockett pushed?
He leans. Offensive guys lean, Paul.
Tony Richardson in as a blocker. Donnell Bennett straight up the gut to the goal line. No call yet. He's short.
I'll tell you, if you want to deflate a defense, just run right at him. And if you can do that, and you run straight at a defense, you're showing your power against what is supposed to be their power. Take a look at this hole. Bennett just finds the crease, gets to the half-yard line.
Down around the goal line and in short yardage situations, when you don't have big people on the defensive line is when you lose the battle.
Donnell Bennett already 4 carries for 23 yards. First and goal on the opening drive. Bennett pulled back at the goal line. Darrell Russell got a hold of him and wouldn't let him cross the stripe.
Darrell Russell just showed you then, Joe, of how strong he really is, because you got the running back at full speed going right into the hole, and then you see Darrell Russell just with his arms. He just brings him back. There's Darrell Russell. Watch this. He reaches across. Watch this, and he brings it back. That shows you strength.
3rd and goal. Bennett. Touchdown.
They tried to go inside. They found out they couldn't do it because Russell's too big. So where do you go for your next option? You go off the left side where you find a lighter group of people.
Yeah, but you got Tony Richardson. He gets a tremendous block. Look at Richardson up in the hole in the end zone, and when he does that, Bennett's in.
And Marcus Spears, number 70, was in as a 3rd tight end. He was influential on the play as well. A tremendous opening drive for Kansas City. They lead by a touchdown.
Kansas City constantly talks about the fact of getting that 12th man involved, these rabid fans of theirs. With that kind of an opening drive, Paul, they've got the fans behind them right now.
When you're looking at Willie Shaw, sometimes Willie Shaw is the defensive coordinator. He used to like to be up in the booth. You know why he likes to be down in the field? He said, I want to look in their eyes. I want to see when these guys come off the field, when I look in their eyes, are they ready to play?
When he looks in Charles Woodson's eyes, he's going to look like a deer in headlights right now.
They have already gone at him 3 times. They've hit 2. The other was an interference call. Desmond Howard from the 5. To the 29, loose ball. It looked like it came out late, but no whistle as yet. Ed Hockley will help them unpile, and the officials talking to each other.
They give it to Kansas City, this place will go nuts.
This place has already gone nuts. Kansas City football. This looked like a bad call.
It is a bad call because the official that comes in is blocked from where the ball is. Desmond Howard is on the ground when this ball comes out. Watch him. Remember, a knee's got to be down. His knees are down. His knees are down. His body is down, for goodness sakes.
This is, sometimes when you think about
this
replay,
is bad.
This is maybe the first game of the season, but this one play can turn this game totally around, and you lose a ball game.
It happened also in an earlier game today on special teams in the Jacksonville game.
Richardson stripped the football. John Gruden really upset about the call, and the replay shows he has every right to be. Big break for the Chiefs. They're already up 7-0. They'll start at the Oakland 30. Rise. Touchdown. And they are working over the Heisman winner from Michigan.
Think of the routes. They run an out, they run an in, then an out, then a go, and now comes the post. Rison now pushes him out just a little bit. Woodson can't turn and run with them. Andre puts it away. Now remember, he only needs control when he crosses the line.
The one thing about that Andre Rison, the move, there wasn't really no move. He just ran and just went left. He didn't put a move on him.
Elvis Gerback 3 for 3, 53 yards all to Andre Rison. 14 points in 17 seconds. And the Chiefs, who have dominated the Oakland Raiders, especially here, are doing it again.
Charles Woodson being picked on by the Kansas City Chief offense. Elvis Gerback going after him one more time. Take a look at his eyes. See his eyes? They're looking right at the quarterback. He's peeking in the backfield. Drops back, peeks again. Rison just really runs a move inside. Like you said, Paul, no real move, just goes inside of him for 6.
You know, guys, it must seem like a long time since he was at the Downtown Athletic Club. He is being toasted in his debut as a corner. Trust me, he'll get better. The kid has a brilliant future. Right now, he's not having any fun. Very short kick, taken by one of the up men, Calvin Branch. And Branch buried inside the 15-yard line. Ron George led a charge. If you are a Raider fan, it's ugly early in Kansas City. Most of these people haven't even settled into their seats, and their Chiefs are up 14-0 on the hated Oakland Raiders. Napoleon Kaufman fumble. Kansas City has the ball. Wayne Simmons. Holy cow.
I'll tell you what, Wayne Simmons did not give up on his play. He is number 56. He sees the ball on the ground. The ball goes back to get it. But watch Wayne Simmons, number 56. You talk about a hustling defense. This is why they were always in the plus column. On the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see him come in. The ball's down. Watch him take this thing away. He comes in and takes the ball away from Kaufman.
I always believe that it's the quarterback's responsibility to make sure that a running back has the ball. Jeff George did not get close enough to Kaufman to give him an opportunity to make a play.
Wayne Simmons with the huge recovery, and Paul, you're right. He just kept coming and swiped the ball. Donnell Bennett. A year ago, it was 30-0 here, and Marty Schottenheimer has totally dominated the Oakland Raiders in the 90s.
Well, did you hear what Solomon Wilcox? We take the ball away. We take the ball away.
Mistakes killing the Raiders. 2nd and 6. Bennett to the 1-foot line. Eric Turner, who led the team in tackles a year ago and said, I don't need to be making tackles 10-yard downfield, had to.
Mike, something we have to mention, too, is because of the heat here, if that offensive line just continues to pound the front, there's Grunard and Shield. They collapse the right side, making the safeties come up and try and make plays. Bennett doesn't get touched till he's 5 yards deep in the defensive backfield. You keep pounding on those guys up front, it's going to be tough to hold any kind of gas through the game.
Play action, Gerbeck. Throws it away. Gonzalez, the closest man to it. That was well covered.
You know, we talked to Gerbeck yesterday, and as we were getting near the end of the conversation with him, I looked at Elvis and I said, after the preseason's over with, are you comfortable with the running game? And he didn't even pause. He said, very. He said, I am very comfortable with the running game. Everybody keeps worrying about this team running the football. In the last 3 years, the worst they were was 5th in rushing.
2nd and goal from a foot. Donnell Bennett stacked up at the line and held out of the end zone.
You got to give this Raider defense a lot of credit. It's not their fault that they've been on the field this entire first quarter. It's been miscues by teams as well as the offense. I mean, these guys are hanging in there tough. Russell Maryland and Darrell Russell in the middle.
The Raiders have had one play from scrimmage, and that was the fumble.
You haven't even given their starting offensive lineup yet.
We may not for a while. 3rd and goal. What a debut for John Gruden. And they'll whistle the play dead. There was movement up front.
You see Elvis Gerbeck get his hands out of there?
Smart quarterback, Paul.
And the rest of them. Ed Hockley is the referee.
They're going to pick a number.
Before the snap, false start by the offensive left guard. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
That would be 9-year veteran Dave Zott. Al Davis, the longtime owner of the franchise, spoke very frankly before he hired John Gruden and said the atmosphere around here has to change, and so does the defense.
Well, there's nothing you can
wrong.
do about it when you put the ball on the surface and leave it down there, and they take it away from you.
3rd and goal now from the 6. Gerbeck scrambling, and they've got him back at the 12-yard line.
That's just an outstanding job by the secondary, covering up on the receivers, but also the pursuit of that defensive line and linebackers. Darrell Russell, number 96, just keeps bringing pressure on the right side of your screen. You see him come around. Will Shields, he just holds his lane. He doesn't run around the cup. Does a good job of keeping himself between the quarterback and the goal line.
Pete Stoyanovich has made 20 in a row. This is from 29 yards, and he is perfect. A number 21. That ties the club record with Nick Lowery and is only 10 off the NFL record. Derek Thomas said he was looking forward to playing with defensive end Chester McLaughlin from the Raiders, but McLaughlin not here tonight. Underwent a 1.5-hour surgical procedure on his back yesterday. They expect a full recovery, but there is no speculation on when he will return. It is not a season-ending injury. So far, they certainly haven't missed Chester or anyone else. The defense has been on the field for one play.
And they really didn't have Chester all through the preseason. But when they do come back, it's going to be a big plus to that defensive front.
Stoyanovich to kick it away. Desmond Howard has been a major disappointment as a kick returner. He is back at the 1. There's a seam for Howard and cut down as he crossed the 25. There's a marker down on the play. Greg Minuski with the big hit.
Holding by the receiving team, number 85, during the return. 10-yard penalty, open ball, first down.
The Raiders offense led by Jeff George, one of the few bright spots in '97. Number 1 in the NFL in passing yards, number 1 in the AFC, 29 touchdown passes. Napoleon Kaufman came into his own last year. Richie, the rookie fullback, All-Pro Tim Brown, and Jet, the wideouts. Dudley, the tight end. The offensive line, Wisniewski, the All-Pro. Tim Brown makes the catch for a very short game. The Chiefs defense will go with Pella McDaniels and Leslie O'Neal, a defensive end because of injuries to McLaughlin and Browning. An outstanding group of linebackers. Simmons, Edwards, Davis, All-Pro Derek Thomas, who is number 12 all-time in sacks. A brilliant secondary, Pro Bowlers Carter and Hasty at the corners, along with the tough young safeties Woods and Tongue. George, quick set, throws for Mickens. McMillan was right there along with Donnie Edwards.
I like the choice of Bill Callahan, the offensive coordinator, and head coach John Gruden, of George coming out and try and establish him in some sort of a rhythm. The Raiders can run the football. They feel comfortable with that. What they want to do is they want to get Jeff comfortable working out the pocket, getting the ball off quick.
He faces a 3rd and 6, and Derek Thomas will be coming. Jet wide open. Blazing speed. Reggie Tongue horse collars him at the 44. Big play for the Raiders. A 36-yard strike when they needed it most.
Nice job by Jeff George taking a look at the defense. Watch what happens to Dale Carter down here. Everybody's coming after Jeff George. He goes inside, but he forgets about Jet, who's in the slot.
The initial first down for the Raiders. Kaufman. Nothing. The center of that defensive wall gave nothing. Bart was right there. So was Leslie O'Neal. O'Neal had him around the ankle, and Bart clobbered him.
Leslie O'Neal starting because of Chester McLaughlin not having an opportunity to play. He's back to his natural position of right defensive end, of which he started in the league all the years he's played, all 13 of them.
Loss of 2 on the carry, 2nd and 12. Thomas from behind doesn't get there. Richie, the rookie fullback, to the 15. A gain of 30, so 2 big plays on this drive for the Raiders.
You know, when you talked about Jeff George in the 2-step, 3-step, 5-step drop, thank God he did it this time. Watch Derek Thomas. He's about as close as you're going to get to him right here. That quick drop, Derek Thomas was there.
But the ability to get the ball out quick really makes a difference. But Donnie Edwards can't hold on. Richie, a very strong guy. That's part of this offense. If you're in the West Coast offense as a fullback, you're going to catch the football.
First down for the Raiders. Kaufman. Napoleon Kaufman. Touchdown. There is a marker down at the 15-yard line.
They're going to call holding on number 77, Pat Harlow. That hole was a little bit too big to the outside.
By the offense, number 83. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Ricky Dudley, the tight end. They try and run a toss sweep. Napoleon Kaufman has such great speed. You just want to get him deep and let him cut. Dudley trying to hook on the outside. He's got that arm just holding on too tight. If he'd have just let it go an instant sooner, they probably wouldn't have called it.
2 huge penalties so far. One set up Kansas City's touchdown. This one wipes out an Oakland touchdown. George with time. Just overthrows Ricky Dudley. Harvey Williams is into the Raider lineup. George throws for the end zone. Jet. And it's off the helmet of Jerome Woods. There's another flag down.
I'm going to tell you what, Jerome Woods, all he did was turn and run to the football. And if it weren't for his speed, I mean, that ball was perfectly thrown. It looked like touchdown all the way from here. And Jerome Woods was right there. I mean, he got there in a heartbeat.
Steve Wisniewski pleading his case. He said he was hit in the face on the pass rush. Arrowhead has been a house of horrors for the Raiders, and it's been John Gruden's worst nightmare tonight.
It's against the Raiders, and they're just deciding whether they want the penalty or take the down.
I'd move him back.
Illegal hands to the face mask by the offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Steve Wisniewski gets the call. Pelham McDaniels, number 76. There's Pelham's got. He pushes Wisniewski's helmet off. Wisniewski's got him by the face mask. That's why this is such a rivalry.
It could have been a double call.
And that is reputation. Movement up front.
Before the snap, timeout, Kansas City. That's their first charge, team timeout.
Kansas City takes a timeout with 3:42 to go. Cam high above Kansas City and Arrowhead Stadium for tonight's ESPN season opener of Sunday Night Football.
Chopper cam, huh, Michael?
That's it. All right. And that's where the Raiders have been getting it, right in the choppers. Second and 30. George changing the play. Tim Brown dragged down by Hasty at the 21.
One of the things that the Oakland Raiders wanted to work on was speeding up getting in and out of the huddle. They try and run plays and get out of the huddle with 18 seconds run. That gives Jeff George at least 15 seconds to be at the line of scrimmage to do exactly what he did on that play. Take a look at the defense, make a call, and decide what he wants to do with the football.
And there they are at the line of scrimmage at 18 seconds.
And it has disrupted the Kansas City defense. Quick strike and a Jet makes the catch. He's down to the 12. That'll bring up a 4th down, and here comes the field goal unit.
What that drive did for the Oakland Raiders was give their offense an awful lot of confidence. John Gruden has sold them, if you just execute, we can move the football. They proved they could with big plays as well as controlled passes.
Also gave their defense a little bit of a rest.
And I'll tell you something else, too. Jeff George didn't hardly get touched. That's a big key.
He looks absolutely sensational in this offense. He had great numbers a year ago, might even be better this season. Greg Davis, 30-yard field goal, and he missed it. That's the last thing they needed.
He misses that because Dale Carter, one of the best kick blockers in football, comes around the corner and makes him hook it.
When you kick field goals, it's 3 things. It's the center, it's the holder, and it's the kicker. And when you take a look at the hold, Eric Goose is the guy that's holding. The ball is down on the ground. He had to wait. When Davis has to wait, you're right. There's Carter there. When he has to wait, he had to pull it. He had to shorten up his leg, and he hooked the ball to his left.
Kickers out of their peripheral vision can see a movement coming. So he instinctively tries to make him miss it and winds up pulling it left.
Still 17-0. So the Raiders with an impressive drive and get nothing out of it. Kimball Anders is the single setback. Gerbeck gets away again, and gets out to the 25. There's a flag down. Is this a late hit? Defensive holding.
You know, the Raiders have done everything wrong they could possibly do on special teams and defense.
I'm curious how you get defensive holding when the quarterback's running with the football.
Well, he could be holding a receiver.
Holding by the defense, number 57. It's a 5-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run. First down.
That's Terry Wooden, who was just cut by Kansas City and picked up by the Raiders.
Number 57. Here he is on Gonzalez. He's hanging on.
See, that's how you get holding, Joe.
Oh, that.
No, you know, I don't agree with that. I mean, there's a 5-yard area of which you can hit the receivers. Tight ends and linebackers lock up. I don't agree with it.
You can't use your hands on you.
What do you use then?
See?
Vanover in as a running back. Nothing. And how great is it that you have 2 good guys who are chasing that record? 2nd and 11, Vanover again. The one thing Vanover needs to work on, he hasn't been a running back since high school. He's got to get his pads down. If you run straight up, you're not going to last long.
The thing he's got to get up to is his head. He's got to get his pads down and his head up so he can see who's coming at him. Because he hasn't been there, Michael, he has a tendency to run with his head down. He's 6'3". He's going to be 6'1" if he keeps doing that.
What he's got to really learn how to do is run off his fullback and run up the block. Because Craig Beaker at that time, number 54 for the Raiders, just made a sensational play.
They want to get Vanover a lot of action. 3rd and 9. Here comes the blitz. Gerbeck hangs in there and throws incomplete. Walker on the coverage on top of Rison. Louis Aguiar will come on to punt. He has a record 556 straight punts without a block. That is an NFL record, his first 556. Howard will go back to the 24-yard line. He only averaged 7.8 a return a year ago after those brilliant season in Green Bay. Arago's a high short floater. Howard, fair catch signal, lost the ball, picked up by Kansas City, and it's Reggie Tuck, touchdown. This will come back because you cannot advance a muff, and Howard never caught it. Look at John Gruden.
Well, I said everything that could possibly go wrong with your defense and your special teams have happened. Now, the one before...
You left that out.
Huh?
You left that out.
Yeah, I mean, this is really dumb. I mean, if you can't really make the catch, then get away from it. You're allowed to signal for a fair catch and get away from it. He does not. Look at Desmond Howard. He misjudges the ball and then tries to make the great catch.
Everything has gone wrong for John Gruden. At this rate, he's going to call home and find out his cat has a fur ball.
Mike, I'll tell you something. I returned punts for 2 years in this league. You're paid to catch the football. That's your job. That's your first primary and only job. Catch the football. You got to be able to catch a football because that's all they've hired him to do.
The Chiefs on the verge of blowing it wide open. And Gerback overthrows Lockett, who broke off the pattern at the end.
You started the football game going after Charles Woodson. Now why not keep on going? This time Lockett is up against him again. They're working up the field. Good job by Woodson. Incidental contact makes Lockett go inside. Gerback throws the ball outside. Boy, I tell you, you know, you can't give this Raider defense enough credit. As maligned as they were a year ago, they are stepping up big.
Rison tried to beat Woodson. The pass was overthrown. Contact was incidental.
Boy, I'll tell you, Woodson just shows why he was the Heisman Trophy winner and a #1 draft choice. Look at him. That's me. Watch this. Andre Rison tries to get inside. He will not allow it. Look, he won't allow it. And then, look, he makes a turn. He's after Rison. That is just outstanding coverage.
It's a quick post and go. He keeps his hands. He still looks in. But look at the recovery speed. You can see the burst going out. Eric Allen on the other corner's got to wonder if he had to buy a ticket to watch this game. They haven't thrown anywhere near him.
The 7th Heisman Trophy winner to become a Raider. Gerback, quick set to Rison to the 7-yard line. It will be 1st and goal, or excuse me, check it. It's at the 7, and now they're marking it back near the 8, so it might be close. They're going to measure for the 1st down.
Joe had to mention Eric Allen's name, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And they just went to him. First down.
I think they got it by the nose of the football.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're saying it's short. They stretched to change the 2nd time after the crowd had responded. And when we come back, it will be 4th and inches for Kansas City. The Raiders came in here tonight hoping for something positive. There has been very little of that so far. Mistake after mistake.
And so much of it has occurred on special teams. All it is a question of protecting the football.
Well, Desmond Howard, remember the first one really wasn't a fumble, and they called it a fumble. They didn't call him down, so that wasn't his fault. But the second one on the punt return, I agree with you totally, Joe. You are paid to do one thing and catch the football. You must judge it.
They have been their own worst enemies so far, and they are down 17-0. Kansas City now facing a 4th and inches.
And they will go for it.
Bennett is the deep man in the eye behind Richardson. Richardson gets the carry. 1st and goal, Kansas City.
You know what I really liked about that play? Instead of getting to the line of scrimmage and taking a lot of time, Elvis Gerback, he got his offensive line up there. They got set. They got in the blocks. He got up there and bang, he was right through it.
Well, it takes Shields and Grunhard right up the center. Just look what they do. It's just a quick handoff. There's Grunhard, Shields, 68, Grunhard to center. And look at this. The hole is there.
Only one wide receiver, and that's Joe Horn. Willie Tate is in as the second tight end. Donnell Bennett straight up the middle, hit the line of scrimmage and stuffed. And, Joe, I'll go back to your point. You have to hand it to the Raiders defense. They are hanging in here with almost no help.
All they do is Richard Harvey that time fills the hole. When you're playing with as many linebackers as the Raiders play, you have to count on them. Willie Shaw has got everybody assigned to a gap. If a guy doesn't hold to his assignment, you'll see a gaping hole. So far, this defense has played its heart out.
And this was a defense a year ago you couldn't say that very often about. Bennett. Second effort got him just inside the 5 before he is gang tackled.
All right, on fourth down in about 3 or 4 inches, you went up the middle on a quick hitter. But now you're going, you got first down on the 5-yard line, second down on the 5-yard line, and you don't go into the strength of the Raider defense because the strength is the 2 big guys in the middle.
Yeah, Paul, but I can sort of understand what Marty's doing. You're going at the heart of the lion. If you can push those guys around, there's no place else for the defense to go. I like the opportunity. To me, running the football down here is pure attitude. And I think Marty's just trying to establish one.
And there's a timeout, Kansas City, as the play clock was winding down. 17-0 Chiefs. Back in a moment. A sold-out Arrowhead Stadium, and for the first time, all opening weekend games are a sellout in the National Football League. Lamar Hunt thanks you very much. The Chiefs founder. And boy, he's got to be enjoying tonight.
You know what's amazing about Lamar Hunt? He built this stadium, and still today it is a state-of-the-art stadium. You talk about a man with the eye on the future.
Tremendous complex. 3rd and 5. Gerbeck throws in the flat. They'll be stopped shy of the goal line. Kimball Anders made the catch. That is the first play in 9 tries in goal-to-go situations the Chiefs have gained any yardage.
Marty Schottenheimer wants to know where the ball is. If it was close, he was going to go for it. Little play action with Elvis Gerbeck on the roll. He gets Kimball out in the flat. Who's there to make the tackle? The guy they've been picking on, Charles Woodson.
So Stoyanovich will come on for the chip shot field goal to break Nick Lowry's record of 22 straight. He hit his first one from 28, this one only 19. The Raider defense, the only thing standing between them and disaster. 20-0. The Chiefs over the Raiders with 12:17 to go in the first half. There is Jack Tatum, one of the guys that Al Davis brought in tonight to highlight this rivalry, brought back some of the greats. And, of course, Kansas City has some of its own homegrown heroes. Len Dawson, who works in television and radio here, and the former brilliant quarterback of the Chiefs. He's having a little more fun than Jack Tatum is right now. Desmond Howard from the 6. Trying to atone for that fumble cut down as he got to the 25. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcox.
Mike, after the Raiders' last possession, the Chiefs coaching staffs were telling their defensive players that when Jeff George checks at the line of scrimmage and hold his hand up, they should expect the Raider wide receivers to run the double slant. Now, the Raiders, they executed that play on their last possession. Now let's see if the Chiefs' defensive players can make the adjustment right here. Mike?
All right, Solomon, they certainly need to adjust something for the Oakland Raiders down 20-0 already. This their best starting position so far. Kaufman on the toss behind Ritchie. Napoleon Kaufman off to the races. Near the 50-yard line, there's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
And the Raiders are backing up.
And this will come back.
You know, you're trying to get something started, and every time you do, you get a flag.
That's 6 penalties against the Raiders for 62 yards.
So they're not fooling around with the little minor penalties. They're going with the big stuff.
Holding by the offense, number 63. 10-yard penalty enforced from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
Of course, that has been a traditional problem for the Raiders, is leading the league or being close to leading the league in number of penalties.
But so many of those penalties, Mike, were lack of concentration, offsides, motions. These tonight have been of a major difference. 2 big plays have come back because of holding. One a touchdown, and now another big run.
So Jeff George finally got decent field position, and look at the time of possession. Only 4:53 for Oakland. George under pressure. Ritchie, nice catch. Davis took it away from him, but after he was down. John Ritchie, the rookie fullback out of Stanford, that's his second big play.
And if both players have possession when they go to the ground, ties go to the offense.
I never liked that rule.
I know, but I did. Jeff George doing a nice job of rolling. He sees that Davis isn't looking, so he does a smart thing. He throws the ball. They both go to the ground. Possession Raiders.
Harvey Williams checks into the lineup. They used him at tight end a year ago. Now he's back at running back. Picks up a yard and then pushed forward for another. And another flag comes down.
Dale.
And here comes pushing and shoving.
Did you see Dale Carter? He hit Barrett Robbins, the center. The center is just standing there, number 63, and Dale Carter comes flying in and just labels him. Dale said, no, I didn't do anything.
That is not going to be a penalty that Marty Schottenheimer likes. He likes his team to be aggressive, not foolish. Harvey Williams is almost on the ground when Dale Carter just leveled him.
Yeah, but
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the defense, number 34, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, but he goes after the center. He doesn't go after Harvey Williams. He goes after the big center. Carter is not going to pick out a little guy. Watch 63 Robbins standing there, and bam, he just hits the ground. There comes the flag.
That's a good call by the official.
When you say rivalry, this is more than a rivalry. These guys really hate each other. George hit as he threw. Derek Thomas got him from behind. Now that was supposed to be the quick set and throw.
You know, I'll tell you something though. It may be an incompletion, but it's a smart move by Jeff George. He knows it's a short set drop. He knows that Derek Thomas is coming around the corner on Harlow quick. Derek makes the corner, he gets rid of it. Now, instead of having second down and 15, it's just second down and 10.
He is so unbelievably quick off the corner. Kaufman had to spin out of the way of a tackle, and Derek Thomas was in the backfield almost the same time as the handoff.
Well, you know, we talked to Pat Harlow yesterday about Derek Thomas and what makes him so special. He says when he dips and he's coming around the corner, he seems to gain speed. Now, he's not on the outside. Derek Thomas, watch him. He's going to come up in the middle. They have a stunt. He sees Kaufman, makes the tackle in the backfield. That's just outstanding defensive play. That's why he's a Pro Bowl.
3rd and 10. You have to think this is a critical drive for the Raiders, down 20-0. The all-out blitz. They don't get there. George with all day to throw and finally goes down. What a job the secondary did.
What a job that Raider offensive line did against the blitz as well. As the receivers go out, take a look at the coverage. There's Jet. He sits down. McMillan's right on top of him. Now Tim Brown is up against Carter. Tim Brown said if Dale Carter gets his hands on you, you can't go anywhere. Where's Ricky Dudley when you need him? He's not going anywhere because Donnie Edwards is all over him.
And they'll have to punt it away on 4th and 17. And that sort of typifies the night for the Raiders. A good punt, but it kicks into the end zone. And Kansas City, after a 51-yard punt and no return, will start from its own 20-yard line, already up big. It is brutally hot here in Kansas City. And remember, they used to have AstroTurf here. It's a break for the players, but they are playing on natural grass. Rashawn Sheehy is into the lineup. Zott will get a breather.
Charles Woodson has been the defender of choice to go after tonight by Kansas City's offense. This is early in the ball game. Andre Rison up one-on-one with him. 6 points for the Chiefs. Now, Kevin Lockett, good use of hands. Good, strong defense, turns and comes back. Rison with the quick post and go. Great change of direction, doing a much better job. Settling in very comfortably now at the corner.
2nd and 9. Anders, the blocking back for Sheehy, and he goes out to the flank. Go back with time, throws underneath, the ball comes loose, it's called incomplete. Check in with Solomon Wilcott. Solomon.
Yeah, Mike, before the game, I had a chance to talk with the Raiders defensive coordinator, Willie Shaw, about the Chiefs coming after the rookie Charles Woodson. He said he's not concerned about Woodson getting beat, but he was more concerned about how Charles Woodson would react once he has given up a big play. And, Mike, no one thought he would be in that position so soon in the ball game.
You know, one other thing, too, Solomon, is that when we talked to Tim Brown yesterday, he said he's no ordinary rookie. He said this guy is an experienced player.
Movement up front. It looked like Tony Gonzalez, the tight end, came out of his stance early.
And, Mike, he's a guy that Kansas City has got to incorporate in this offense. Talking to Jimmy Ray, the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs, they feel like he can be a 60-plus catcher.
By the offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Gonzalez, a kid who came out of Southern California with tremendous skills out of high school. He shared the Southern California Athlete of the Year award with none other than Tiger Woods.
I love when they talk about him when he played basketball. Who's going to cover him?
I wouldn't mind Tiger's golf game. I don't care who covers Tony. I always want him to be able to hit the ball like Tiger.
Never happened.
3rd and 14. In the flat to Kimball Anders. And Kimball Anders in this ball game has become the #1 receiving running back in Kansas City Chiefs history. He passed the venerable Ed Podolak. Always been a terrific receiver for the Chiefs. This one well short of a first down, and they'll have to punt it away, and things have calmed down after the early fireworks. Aguiar, who had a beauty his first time, will kick to Howard. Not as good a kick this time. Howard up to his 41. And back to midfield. 38-yard punt, a return of 9 for the former Heisman winner. Danon Hughes makes the tackle for Kansas City's special teams. 8:07 to go, first half. The Southwest Airlines Chopper Cam high above Kansas City in beautiful Arrowhead Stadium for ESPN's season opener of Sunday Night Football. If you're a Chiefs fan, it's been a beauty so far. Napoleon Kaufman on the toss. Absolutely nothing there. ESPN and ESPN2, your season-long homes for college football. Here's the lineup for next Saturday. At noon on ESPN, Rice takes on Purdue. At noon on the Deuce, Iowa State and Iowa. Then at 6 o'clock, Georgia and South Carolina. At 9 Eastern, Arizona State and BYU. Napoleon Kaufman, 6 carries, minus a yard tonight. George stepped up, hit from behind, loose ball. Nobody has blown a whistle yet. And it's going to be Kansas City's ball as Wayne Simmons has it. Leslie O'Neal got the sack. Everybody just stood there.
At least one football player is smart enough to look on the ground and see a ball and pick it up.
Wayne Simmons.
I mean, that is unbelievable that all those guys will see the ball on the ground. Only one goes after it. Derek Thomas comes up hard outside, which allows Leslie O'Neal to go by Wisniewski. Now, before Jeff George can make the throw, the ball will be on the ground. He doesn't get his arm going forward. Now look, it's just laying there. Nobody's really paying much attention to it. It's still laying there. All of a sudden, Simmons picks it up. Kansas City ball.
I was looking at Dale Carter, number 34. He was walking off the sidelines talking to the Raider bench, just saying, hey, we just sacked the quarterback.
Wait until you hear the discussion this week about a ball on the ground.
This has been unbelievable. Kimball Anders straight up the middle. James Folston was in on the stop, so was Harvey.
A little while ago when they were down on the goal line, Joe, I'm going to get this in. You said, you know, go at their strength. If we can defeat them there, we've got them.
Sure.
Well, I always thought that, you know, why not go at their weakness, which is a little bit to the outside.
I agree with you.
And then work on their strength later on.
But I always think running the ball down around the goal line and in short yardage situations is attitude. It more than where you want to run it to, it's a question of having your guys be tougher than the other guys.
2nd and 8. Here comes the blitz. Good protection for Gerbach. Now it breaks down. And Elvis is sacked back at the 35-yard line. The sack will go to Darrell Russell, the second-year lineman out of Southern Cal.
First of all, the protection was there for Elvis Gerbach at the beginning. But the problem was, Joe, is there was no one open. The secondary coverage was perfect. Now watch this blocking at the line of scrimmage. Now this is fine. Elvis Gerbach is looking downfield. Now he moves up inside. Here's your protection. And here's your coverage.
He has nowhere really to go with the football. Woodson doing a good job staying with Lockett. Counting on that defensive front to put some pressure on Elvis.
Now it's 3rd and 15. Flag is down. Gerbach throws underneath. Kimball Anders. Nice tackle by Richard Harvey, and it looked like the Raiders were offside or in the neutral zone.
Encroachment. I love that. The Raiders did move. Offside, the Raiders.
I like it when a quarterback uses his head instead of just his arm and his body.
Well, you should. I mean, you were the master of that.
Okay, when it's 3rd and 15, he goes to a hard count to get a shorter distance to try and pick up on 3rd down. That's just great quarterbacking.
Offsides by the defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
See, to me, that means that Elvis Gerbach is totally in charge of what's going on the field. And Willie Shaw's defense continues to come up with big plays.
You got to hand it to Willie Shaw and John Gruden. This unit has really given its all so far, even down 20-0. Now it's 3rd and 10. Gerbach under pressure again. Slips one tackle. Johnstone trying to chase him down, and he throws it away. Smart play by Gerbach. Got outside of the pocket and unleashed it.
And a good job by the defensive secondary of the Raiders again. Charles Woodson's, as we pointed out, everybody's gone after him. He's been the guy they wanted to work on. Lockett outside. Woodson does a nice job of staying with Lockett. Now he sees that Gerbach's in trouble. Rising up against Eric Allen with Turner coming up on the inside. Nowhere to go. Good job by that Raider secondary.
Stoyanovich has his sights set on that NFL record. 31 by Fuad Reveiz, and now he sees the play clock winding down, and he wants a timeout. He's hit 2 in a row.
Well, the biggest problem is with this is they only had 10 men on the field, and Stoyanovich saw that there was nobody on the wing on the left-hand side, and when he did that, he called timeout. Marty Schottenheimer was standing in the middle of the field like, what's going on? And there's Gonzalez, who was supposed to be out there.
Well, if you're supposed to be the 11th guy, the last place you want to be standing is beside the head coach when they find out about it. For up-to-date scores, stats, and analysis on all the NFL action, you can log on to ESPN.com and check out the new features on NFL.com, including video highlights of today's game at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Mike, just knowing Tony Gonzalez and the expectations that the Chiefs have for him on this season and himself, I think that he's a bit frustrated right now. I think he got caught up with some of that frustration on the sidelines, and players start thinking, man, I got to get the ball. They got to give me the ball. All of a sudden, the field goal unit is out, and he's still thinking about, I got to get the ball.
You going to use that explanation to the special teams coach?
You had to start with Marty. That was the biggest problem, Paul. I don't think that one's going to work to Mike Stock.
Yeah, the reason I wasn't out there because I was worried about you guys ever throwing me the ball.
There's Mike Stock. I don't think he's going to buy that one. It's a nice, intelligent try, young man. Stoyanovich has had a pair of chip shots. And the streak is over. This one was short. Stoyanovich fails from long range after 22 in a row.
Well, the Raider defense, again, did the job that they had to. After the turnover, they managed to hold the Chiefs' offense. This particular drive is monumental for the Raiders. They have to get something out of this drive. They've got to keep their defense on the sideline for a little while and come away with some points.
Yeah, but the only problem is you're going up against one of the best defenses in the entire National Football League, and they know you're going to try and throw the football.
But John Gruden has had success moving the ball early in this game if they can just eliminate the penalties.
Dudley comes to the near side as the tight end. George, Pelham McDaniels is all over him. Ritchie can't hold the pass.
You know, that actually sometimes you would think, well, Ritchie, dropping the ball, this would be really a smart play because the reason being he's going to lose a yard. If he drops the ball, the clock stops and it gives him a little bit more time. But I don't think he was planning on doing that.
That's a little different position for John Gruden also. In the years in Philadelphia and Green Bay, he's always been up in the booth. This is the first time that he's called plays from the field, so he sees the field differently.
Kaufman back in on 2nd and 10. George with a lot of time. Can't find anyone again. Now he rifles it over the middle, and it's broken up by Dale Carter. That was intended for James Jett. What coverage, and again, back to your point, what protection.
Dale Carter is one of the best corners in the National Football League. He's got long arms and he's physical. Here he is up against Jett. Gets that hand on him right in his chest to slow him down. He can run with him. And there's Hasty, another physical one on Tim Brown. Brown gets some separation, but the linebacker's in the way.
Mickens is in along with Desmond Howard. 4 wideouts on 3rd and 10. And George saw a defense he didn't like and will take a timeout. My admiration in the last year and a half has really grown for Jeff George. He had always had the reputation as a malcontent. Let's face it, he's been with some terrible teams throughout his entire career. But he really showed me something last year, and he's shown me a lot tonight.
He should have been in the Pro Bowl last year with the numbers he put up, and as poor a record as the Raiders put up, 4-12. Him throwing 29 touchdown passes, almost 4,000 yards, tells you a lot about what he tried to do. I will also say this, Mike, too, is that this is, again, his 6th offense in the 9 years that he's played in the game.
6.5.
Only Archie Manning had a lower winning percentage as a starter. 34-66 for Jeff George. Quarterbacks don't win them all by themselves. He has not had a lot of talent around him until now.
And when we were talking to him yesterday, first of all, he came in, he's in great shape. He's lost a lot of weight, and he's playing very well. But the one thing about it, he loves this offense, and he has all the confidence in the world in it.
3rd and 10. Comes the blitz.
Derek Thomas.
Jeff George never had a chance.
You can short set, you can deep set, you can block anybody you want. When Derek Thomas has an opportunity to have the noise and get the jump, nobody's going to block him. Coordination and communication in the offensive line is so important. Wisniewski's on the inside. Harlow tries to pass Derek Thomas off to the guard, but the guard isn't aware, so he runs scot-free at George.
Araguz to punt to Vanover. The Chiefs' defense has been stifling. Vanover at the 24. There's a flag down. And Vanover buried shy of the 30-yard line. Greg Biekert on special teams. Now we'll check the marker.
There's going to be a holding against the Kansas City Chiefs punt return team.
Derek Thomas has feasted on opposing quarterbacks at home. 65% of his sacks have come here at Arrowhead, and that is the best among the career leaders in sacks. And for him, that was 108.5. He is only 1.5 out of the top 10 all time in the NFL.
And that's purely because of the noise. He gets a jump on the ball. The tackles don't have a chance to anticipate the snap count. Of course, they can't hear it.
Well, you said Pat Harlow tried to pass him to Wisniewski. Wisniewski happened to be busy at the time trying to block somebody else. So there's nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, Wiz is going, I'm sorry, I'm a little tied up right now.
But don't you think if there's one guy if I'm an offensive lineman, I'm not passing on to anybody, and that's Derek Thomas. You don't have time to pass him down.
Well, the problem is they bring people outside of him. I mean, Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator, has over 60 blitzes for this defense.
I think Jeff George already feels like he's seen them all. Donnell Bennett on the toss. Room to run to the 20-yard line. Lewis Riddick and Eric Turner made the tackle.
What a great block by Kimball Anders. I mean, he's a fullback. He's got great hands. He can run with the football, but one of the reasons why he's back there, number 38, is because he can block. Watch 38, Kimball Anders on the outside. That's Eric Allen, number 21. He just takes him back to the outside, leaves him out there, and they pick up 8 yards on the play.
Kimball Anders, a 3-time Pro Bowler, 3 years in a row. Bennett runs right into Russell Maryland, gives him a big bear hug and drags him down.
The two inside guys of this Raider defense, Darrell Russell and Russell Maryland, have really stood up well to the interior of that Kansas City Chief offensive line. They're sliding. The two tackles are sliding where they have to go, allowing the outside guy to put pressure up the field.
And Ralph Tam has been working at the left guard spot for Dave Zott, who is out with an injured left arm, and it's questionable whether he'll return or not. Kansas City has not done much on offense lately. The last 5 drives, they've only accumulated 22 yards. Quick pass to Tony Gonzalez. First down at the 29.
See, Joe, when you ask, you shall receive.
I mentioned Eric Allen's name, he gets work. I mentioned Tony Gonzalez, he gets work.
All you got to do is ask. Tony Gonzalez is the guy you've been waiting on, Joe, all night long to get in this offense. Watch him release off the line of scrimmage. He knows it's a blitz. Quick pass. He's got the first down.
Real nice job by Elvis Gerback, reading the defense, coming after him from the outside. Got his hot in the middle, gets it out quick.
Lockett and Horn come in as the wide receivers on 1st and 10. Gerback to throw. Gonzalez loose in the secondary. Fumble. And Horn is right there to recover for Kansas City.
That is just great team play. Tony Gonzalez, I said he wanted the ball. I think Marty Schottenheimer sensed it as well. You got to get him the ball. He releases up the field. Watch this catch in traffic. He's in the middle of 3 Raiders, and he's going to get hit by all 3 of them. Now,
but look, Charles Woodson, you see him come in to strip the ball. Horn is there. How Gonzalez holds on to this, he gets whacked and then just gets stripped of the ball. You got to put the ball away. Woodson is very smart, gets there, gets his hand in, but Horn is also there.
Right back to the ground game, and Bennett stopped outside the 31. Russell Maryland with another tackle. Greg Beaker was there as well.
Al Saunders.
That's Dave Zott with that big wrap on the forearm.
And with all that moisture blowing on his head, his hair's going to grow before the end of the night. Icing down that forearm. I was saying,
we have reached the 2-minute warning at Arrowhead. 20-0 Chiefs. Chris Berman, of course, coming up at halftime with the Mercedes-Benz halftime report, getting a little reminder from a Chiefs fan that his pick may be incorrect. Of course, they feel very strongly about their own team in each city that we go to.
But Boomer's always going to pick San Francisco and somebody. It doesn't matter.
I thought Buffalo was going to be picked again.
I think it was a stretch this year.
2nd and 8. Lockett tied up with Eric Allen, and no flag.
There's a difference. Eric Allen has played 11 years in the league. He knows how to nuzzle. He knows how to nuzzle a receiver.
Nuzzle?
Yeah, well, that's holding legally. Kevin Lockett, number 81, working against Eric Allen. Allen just sits and waits on him. No, see, Lockett ran into Eric Allen. Eric Allen has a spot that he can defend on the field. If a guy runs into him, hey, no penalty. Good call by the official.
Longtime veteran picked up from Tampa Bay. 3rd and 8. Gerbeck had it batted down in his face. Richard Harvey right there. The former New Orleans Saint who played for defensive coordinator Willie Shaw there. He has brought in a lot of his former players.
He was just trying to dump the ball outside to Kimball Anders. Gerbeck was, and he just didn't get it there.
And this is a good decision by Marty. He's going to go for it on 4th down and 8. And reason I like it, it's if you punt it, you're only going to pick up maybe 12 yards if you kick it in the end zone. If you try a field goal, it's too far and it comes right back. So I like this call right here.
And the Raiders haven't done a thing against them offensively.
Plus you got a 20-point lead.
Gerbeck rolls the pocket, throws underneath to Gonzalez. He's hit, lost the ball. Let's see who they give it to. They will mark it out of bounds. It won't make any difference. It appears to be short of the sticks. Richard Harvey again with a play for the Raiders defense. And Oakland will take over on downs.
You're absolutely right, Michael. It doesn't make any difference whoever gets the ball because there is no first down.
What they're counting on here is Tony Gonzalez being able to run through a linebacker, but the ball gets stripped. It goes out of bounds. Good mark by the official. Raider ball. Now
that's 2 Gonzalez has put on the ground here in the first half. Neither one of which has cost his ball club. So the Raiders have a minute 48 to go in the half. 2 timeouts as well to try to get something going. Draw play. Kaufman runs into his own man and then streaks Napoleon Kaufman to the 35. Gentlemen, keep in mind, this Kansas City defense is doing this without its defensive ends, McLaughlin and Browning. Again, George can't find anybody. Throws underneath. Kaufman dives across the 40 to the 43.
If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, all night you've created problems for Jeff George by putting pressure on him. Now all of a sudden Gunther Cunningham looks like he's dropping 7 people back and giving him a chance to have some time in the pocket.
2nd and 3. This will come back because of a holding call.
Lincoln Kennedy just grabbed onto Donnie Edwards, number 59, and threw him to the ground, and the referee is standing right there. I mean, I know you're trying to protect your quarterback, but you're in a drive. You're trying to get some points on the board with 1:01 left to go, and
holding by the offense, number 72, 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Lincoln Kennedy, 72 on the top side. He's the right tackle. Donnie Edwards, number 59. Watch this. You think this is a takedown, Joe? How good is this?
I just held him a little. Just a little grab there. John Gruden has not seen the efficiency in his offense that he had hoped for tonight. Or his team, for that matter.
2nd and 13. Straight 4-man rush. George, the flat. Williams pushed out of bounds. They'll mark it at the 41. The Raider woes in the first half. Here's the litany. 4 fumbles, a missed 30-yard field goal, 8 penalties for 77 yards, and they've run the ball 7 times for 10. No wonder they're down 20.
Yeah, but a touchdown here puts them within 2 touchdowns of the lead. Now, again, you're talking about probably the best defense right now in the National Football League.
Yeah, but not if you're dropping everybody back into coverage.
I agree. I think you should come after
they're awesome when they're going after them.
George throws to Tim Brown, and he dives to get a first down at the 47. And they'll stop the clock with 46 seconds to go in the half. Coming up on the Mercedes-Benz halftime report, Chris Berman will be along with a Sunday night staple, the fastest 3 minutes in television. You'll see the pro debuts of Manning and Leaf and a check on chasing history with McGuire and Sosa going after Roger Maris' 61 home run record.
I am going to make myself some time tomorrow night to watch ESPN. Where the Cubs and the Cardinals go at
2 o'clock.
Actually, well, tomorrow night as well, because it may be a late game. You know, it may just go into extra innings.
You know what I really
so I'm just
like?
putting all kinds of time away for myself.
I really admire McGuire for waiting until ESPN gets him tomorrow to get 61.
It's class.
That was really nice of him to do that today. He did hit
Sosa
one foul.
could hit 3.
Yeah,
Not too many guys would be that considerate.
1st and 10. Jeff George has to scramble. Oh, good grief. Leslie O'Neal nearly took him apart.
That's the pressure I was talking about. Jeff George just got blindsided right on the ribs.
He never saw him. And thankfully, Jeff George is up.
Oh, he's hurt, too. You can see him. And Leslie O'Neal just comes around, and you talk about this defense, they just don't give up.
Number 91, Leslie O'Neal. The linebackers force him out of the pocket. Leslie O'Neal is going to come from the right part of your screen and just bury it. Puts his helmet right in his chest. He doesn't even see him coming.
Holy cow. And now Kansas City will have 38 seconds left to do more damage.
They have no timeouts, Kansas City.
Huge turnover. Lockett picks up a few, gets out of bounds.
This is one of the changes in Kansas City's offense, the 2-minute drill. They've given Elvis Grbac the opportunity to run plays. Jeff George, you see him there trying to work on those ribs of his. He'll have a halftime to assess it. But the big change for Kansas City on offense is in the 2-minute drills. They want the quarterback to have an opportunity to run the ball out, run the game out there more.
Jeff George very fortunate he could get up from Leslie O'Neal's huge hit. We're back with time in the flat to Horn, and Eric Allen wraps him up. Clock's running. Kansas City trying to hurry up, but wasting a lot of time. Well, that was an interesting move. They moved the ball up. The line went with it, and then they spiked it.
Well, they did get a first down on the play. The thing about Jeff George, he does wear rib pads, Joe, but when you get hit like that, it doesn't help. I mean, you can see the rib pads on Jeff George, but when you take a shot like he did, he was not even expecting it. He's looking at the guy in front of him when Leslie O'Neal comes from the blind side.
You can be wearing a suit of armor, and it wouldn't matter. Not when you can't see a shot coming like that.
And what a shot it was.
Here it comes again, folks. Take a look at this.
From the right side, he just doesn't see Leslie O'Neal coming.
Russell, Maryland with the big chase. Beekert will get Kimball Anders. Excuse me, that was Darrell Russell. Almost got another sack.
The one thing we're seeing tonight with both of these quarterbacks, especially Elvis Grbac, is the way that he can escape. This guy is, you know, when you think about him as a quarterback, as big as he is, he's very, very strong and very agile.
Especially in this part of the field where he's trying to protect every yard to give Stoyanovich an opportunity for a field goal try if they have to.
7 seconds on the clock. From here, it would be a 49-yarder.
I think you have a chance to try and hit the sidelines and move it a little bit closer.
Grbac under pressure, throws over the middle, incomplete, intended for Risen. Eric Allen, the closest man to it. 1 second to go in the half. And Jeff George is going to make the early trip to the locker room. And Marty Schottenheimer not sending on the field goal unit.
You think this, you got to wonder, is Jeff George going to get taped up? He's a, you know what he is? He's a tough guy. He'll come back. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back and starts the second half.
If the doctors will let him, he will.
Or he can raise his arm to throw.
Gerbeck hit as he throws, and Beaker had it right in his hand and dropped it. Wouldn't have mattered much. Darrell Russell got to Gerbeck, and Elvis holding his right wrist and right arm. Darrell Russell has been a force. Both starting quarterbacks will be assessed at halftime. We will let you know as soon as we can. That's the end of the first half. 20-0 Chiefs. Let's join Chris Berman for the Mercedes-Benz halftime report.
Welcome back to the Mercedes-Benz Halftime Report with your host, Chris Berman.
Hey, welcome back to halftime. It's 20-0 Kansas City over the Oakland Raiders. Well, no rookie quarterback has won opening day in a season since 1977. But today, the number 1 and number 2 draft picks overall, Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf, decided to give it the old college try. Manning at home against the Miami Dolphins, some bad, some good. He was picked off 3 times, twice by Terrell Buckley. This one, not good. It resulted in a Miami score. But Manning threw for 302 yards, including a touchdown to Marvin Harrison, although he was on the losing end of a 24-15 score. Ryan Leaf was a little luckier on the scoreboard side, although he was picked a couple of times by Buffalo's Henry Jones right here. But at home at the Murph, Leaf to Brian Still for a touchdown, and guess what? Leaf wins at 16-14.
If I go 2 for 40 and we win the football game, it doesn't matter, because we're 1-0, an AFC win, and that's all that matters, really. As long as we win the football game, it doesn't matter what statistics I throw up or anything like that. But for us to win, I'm going to have to play well. So I can't just go out and expect myself to play poor and us win. Somebody was looking down on us a little bit today.
Well, some quarterbacks that were injured. 6 starting quarterbacks left the game. Billy Joe Holbert for the Saints, probably out for the season with a ruptured left Achilles tendon. Rob Johnson had to leave in favor of Doug Flutie. Jim Harbaugh had to leave in favor of Eric Zier. He is day-to-day for the Ravens. Trent Dilfer left in favor of Steve Walsh for the Bucs. He's day-to-day with a thigh bruise. Gus Farrat gave way to Trent Green for the Redskins with his sprained left shoulder, uncertain status. Steve McNair should be back next week, but Dave Craig played the second half for the Oilers. Tomorrow night, join Mike Tirico and the gang at 6:30 Eastern Time here on ESPN for 90 minutes of Monday Night Countdown, getting you set for the defending Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos at Mile High against the New England Patriots, who haven't won there since 1968. That's an ABC Monday Night Football starting at 8 Eastern Time. Oh, yeah, there's this other matter in the world of sports concerning a little chase of history by Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. McGwire, who has hit 60 home runs, trying to get 61 today against the Reds. Back. Oh, it's just foul. Mack ended up 0 for 3 in a walk. The Cardinals did beat Cincinnati 5-2. He'll try for it tomorrow here on ESPN at 2 Eastern. Cubs and Pirates, 3-3 game in the top of the 7th. Sammy Sosa with 58 home runs. He had 2 hits. Both were singles and 5 at-bats. Grace moved to third, but no one scored. Cubs trying to get in as a wild card team, but in the bottom of the 10th, Jason Kendall, the fine young catcher of the Buccos, his 12th home run, and the Pirates beat the Cubs 4-3. John Smoltz prevented a sweep by the Mets of the Braves at Chase Stadium. He had 12 Ks, a 3-hitter, 4 solo home runs, including Galarraga's 43rd. And so the Mets lose in their chase of the wild card as well. The Giants trying not to get swept at L.A. lead that 6-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning behind Mark Gardner. So if the Giants win, they would be within 3 games of the Cubs. The Mets stay 1 back in the wild card chase in the National League. Elvis Gerback to Andre Bad Moon Rising. The Chiefs all over the Raiders in the first half, 20-0. Back to Arrowhead in a moment.
This halftime report is presented by Mercedes-Benz.
The 79th renewal of this great rivalry has featured the wicked hits you would expect. Both quarterbacks shaken in the first half. Kansas City has feasted on Raider mistakes and leads 20-0 at halftime. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcots.
Yeah, Mike, and checking in on the Chiefs quarterback, Elvis Gerbach, right now. He is going to remain out of the game. We're told that he has a right shoulder, and it's bruised right now. Rich Gannon is coming in to play, and it is not known at this time if Elvis Gerbach will be able to come back into the game. Mike?
Solomon, thanks very much. We'll check on him as soon as we get another report. There is Richie Gannon, who played so brilliantly down the stretch coming off the bench last year when Gerbach had a broken collarbone.
And for those of you that are interested in the Raiders, Jeff George was out throwing the ball.
After that unbelievable shot he took from Leslie O'Neal. The Raiders will get the ball to start the second half. Louis Aguiar to kick it off, and there's Desmond Howard waiting at his own 5. A low line drive kick. Kenny Shedd fields it on the hop. Kenny Shedd with great speed gets to the outside. Bucky Brooks pushes him out of bounds. There's a flag down. 2, in fact. 1 near the 31 at midfield.
Well, there's holding on the Raiders at the 31. That I do know. And I think it's on Mike Morton, number 50.
Been a night that Frank Gans Jr. would like to forget.
Holding by the receiving team, number 50, during the return. 10-yard penalty. Oakland keeps the ball, first down.
Mike Morton, the linebacker. Here are the first half stats. And the amazing part about it is the Raiders, reasonably close in total yards, are actually ahead in passing yards. But the turnovers and the penalties have killed them in this ballgame. Napoleon Kaufman, they try to throw to him on the screen. The pass tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Leslie O'Neal in, made the tip. I mean, you're going to run a screen. Don't run it at the veteran.
The thing is we've seen Leslie O'Neal put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. This time he starts up the field recognizing the screen, just backs off enough to disrupt the timing and tip the ball.
Second and 10 for Jeff George and the Raiders. In the flat to Kaufman. Got by Davis with a great move. Breaks another tackle. 40, 50 to the Kansas City 40. Ball comes out, but he's down. Simmons picked it up and took off the other way, but Napoleon Kaufman scampers for 39.
That's the value of John Gruden's offense. Swing the ball out when the guys downfield aren't covered. Watch this. Kaufman swings out to the right. George just hangs it out. Now let the great runner be a great runner. Does a terrific job of making people miss. Dale Carter trying to hog time and bring them down.
The Raiders have had some big plays. They haven't gotten any points out of it. Pelham McDaniels got across the line by about 3 steps, and there's a marker down. That's the 5th penalty flag against Kansas City.
Offsides by the defense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Pelham McDaniels last year played 6 games when Derek Thomas was injured at that Falcon position, and he has acquired the nickname the Buzzard because he says, I clean up all the scraps. They tell me earlier in the week where they want me to play. This week it's defensive end. First and 5. Jeff George sacked again by Thomas. He comes from any angle and seems to get there from all of them.
Yeah, but you know the thing is, it's the first step here in this stadium that he has the advantage. Watch him come off the ball. He's off before anybody gets a chance to move. The offensive line is not moving. That's the worst thing that Kennedy can try and do is cut Derek Thomas. He's going to hurdle you like an Olympian. He goes right around, and just really gets at Jeff George's feet right away.
Derek Thomas has just become number 10 all-time in NFL sacks. He has 3 tonight. Kaufman on the toss. Napoleon Kaufman with a big run for a first down to the Kansas City 28.
There's one of the best ways in all of football to slow down the blitzes from the outside. When you got a guy like Derek Thomas that comes off the corner and comes in there quick, if you can just a flip to the outside and you get Dudley, number 83, he's in motion. Watch this block. He just seals back to the inside. Number 77, Pat Harlow, gets to the outside, and Napoleon Kaufman gets a first down.
Harvey Williams to give Kaufman a breather. Harvey Williams hit hard. He got to the 24. 3 years ago, Harvey Williams rushed for more than 1,000 yards.
Well, we talked about the size and the experience of that Kansas City offensive line. You've got to say that the Raiders have put together a pretty good unit as well. Big guys up front, Barrett Robbins in the middle, Graham and Wisniewski are the 2 guards. They're now doing a nice job of controlling the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 6. Williams, nice cutback. He gets to the 23. When you think of the last game that the Raiders played here in Arrowhead last year and the first half of this game, they have been outscored in this stadium 50-0 in 6 quarters of football.
And it's really been by their own problems. It's not that Kansas City has played so well. They've capitalized. But Gruden's Raiders tonight have continued to move the ball. It's just a penalty here, a miscue there that slowed them down.
And a fumble here and a fumble there.
Here, a fumble there, fumble everywhere, a fumble.
Here they come.
All-out blitz over the middle. Knocked away at the last moment. Mickens was trying to make the circus catch, and Hasty reached up and batted it away.
This is outstanding defense. It's one of the reasons why James Hasty is an all-pro. James Hasty has Mickens coming across the middle. The ball is thrown perfectly. Watch this. Here comes Mickens on the top side. James Hasty staying with him. He knows the blitz is on. He's got a man-to-man. The ball's near. Watch him go for the ball. He goes for just grabs the shoulder, pulls the ball out of it. That's a beautiful play.
So Greg Davis, who earlier missed a 32-yarder, will try one from, or missed a 30-yarder, will try one from 42. Hooking, wide left. He's missed them both. The special teams meeting may last a long time on Monday. Chiefs lead at 20-0 over the Oakland Raiders. 11:18 to go in the quarter. The Chiefs defense pitching a shutout, and Dale Carter trying to keep them fired up. Being fired up hasn't been a problem. Richie Gannon comes on at quarterback. He played brilliantly down the stretch last year, got 6 starts, won 5 of them. And there was a big controversy here whether he should continue to be the starter into the playoffs. He was not, and the Chiefs made an early exit. Donnell Bennett. Bennett rumbles to the 44. He just stayed behind Criswell, Grunhard, the left side of that line.
And Kimball Anders, the fullback, who's blocking. And Joe, they attack the outside.
Yeah, on the perimeters. You're right.
Out of it.
Like you wanted him to, Paul. Good job by that offensive line. Everybody pulls. There you see Criswell come around outside. Bennett just hops right in their back pocket. He gets real close to his guards and just keeps on moving.
Donnell Bennett with a little stutter step. The Raiders still hustle to the ball on defense.
Well, they didn't in the past, Mike. It's a great point that you just made. And that's one of the things that Willie Shaw really tried to do from day one in training camp with this football team. He said, I want people hustling around the ball. The reason why they were considered such bad tacklers is because there weren't enough people around the ball. So one guy had to try and make a play. Now he's got him running to the football.
And to Al Davis's credit, who had stood pat many years in the past, he got rid of some of the guys that weren't giving the all-out hustle. Draw play to Bennett. Huge hole for Donnell Bennett to the 30. Eric Turner had to tackle 26 yards downfield, and Grunhard with another great block.
Well, what they were doing, the Raiders are looking for pass.
And what happened is Will Shields, number 68, is going to have an opportunity to block Russell, and they're going to run right up inside. Shields just takes him to the ground. Quick hit. What you need is to give that back a quick crease when it's a quick draw, and he's quick gone.
And Donnell Bennett looks like he can be the guy as the featured tailback. Now Rashawn Sheehy will get a chance up to the 31-yard line. The one thing they have been concerned about is running back depth. Behind Bennett is Sheehy, the rookie from Washington, and Tamarick Vanover, who hasn't been a running back since his high school days.
You know, they talk about the Kansas City Chiefs running the football. Again, you got Rich Gannon in there who can throw the ball. He's about as cool as anyone I've ever seen. I mean, they don't really lose a whole lot when Gannon comes in the ball game. But since he has taken over, they have not thrown the ball.
Andre Rison with a strained hamstring is questionable to return. If they're up 20-0, they certainly won't need him. Gannon unloads. Sheehy dropped it.
Oh, boy.
Richie Gannon with a perfect throw, and Sheehy loses a touchdown.
You know why Sheehy loses his touchdown? I'm going to tell you, he slows down, Joe, about the 17-yard line. He really didn't think they were going to throw the ball to him. And when Gannon sees him going down the sidelines, he knows he's got his man beat. And Sheehy could have been underneath this ball. It would have been a lot easier catch. But about the 15-yard line, he slowed down.
Rashawn Sheehy out of the University of Washington. He was their third-round draft choice. And Marty Schottenheimer telling him, when you get those opportunities, you've got to catch the ball. 3rd and 11, and Gannon has to burn a timeout. Play clock was running down towards 0. Still 20-0 Kansas City, third quarter.
Boy, he...
20-0 with 8:26 to go in the third quarter. Kansas City facing a 3rd and 11 from its own 31. Here comes the blitz. Good protection for Gannon. Hangs in there, throws for Gonzalez over the middle. Newman was right there, and then Pat Swilling came over and added insult to injury.
This is Marty Schottenheimer talking to Rashawn Sheehy, and I know exactly what he's saying to him. You know, not only catch the ball, but when you're in a pattern, you run the pattern to the fullest.
Rashawn getting a little ribbing from his teammates after the fact. 48-yard attempt for Stoyanovich, who was 2 of 3. Got all of that one. And Pete Stoyanovich increases the count to 23-0. The Chiefs leading their arch rival Oakland Raiders. 23-0, a whitewash continuing for the Kansas City Chiefs with 8:17 to go, third quarter. And Louis Aguiar has it teed up. Desmond Howard waits at his own 6-yard line. The Raiders desperately needing something good to happen to them. Aguiar knocks it 5 yards deep. They'll start from the 20. Football. Kaufman is in there as the running back for George. Tim Brown, who has been very quiet tonight, gets up to the 26, only his 4th catch of the night. We will see Manning next week. Manning and Leaf in their debuts. Manning loses, although he hits 21 of 37 for 302 yards through 3 picks. Leaf had a couple of interceptions, but a victory. 192 yards with 16 out of 31. Another blitz. George throws to Tim Brown. Got one hand on it. Couldn't hold it.
That's one of the rare opportunities that George has had to try and get the ball to Tim Brown. Hasty has done an excellent job on Tim Brown. He's had limited catches for limited yards tonight. And really, when you think about this West Coast offense, there's usually one receiver that really becomes the standout guy. Automatically, you think of Jerry Rice in the San Francisco offense. In this one, it's got to be Tim Brown.
3rd and 4. Kaufman goes out as a flanker. George throws a wobbler, and Dudley got his fingertips on it. Looked like he almost misjudged that.
Oh, James Hasty again, Joe. This guy plays such a great corner position, and that time he's locked up on Dudley, and he just was with him man to man.
There goes Hasty, number 40 on Ricky Dudley. The thing that is consistent about Kansas City's defense is they can put their corners on tight ends, and their safeties can cover wide receivers.
Joe Horn will go back to field this punt. Tamarick Vanover on the sideline with a sprained foot. Horn from the 34. And struggles forward to the 40-yard line. A return of 6 after a punt of 40. Kenny Shedd downfield on special teams. The toll continues to mount. It's 23-0 Chiefs. The Southwest Airlines Chopper Cam high above Kansas City and above Arrowhead Stadium. And you're watching ESPN's season opener of Sunday Night Football. Glad you could be with us. Rashawn Sheehy is the running back behind Richie Gannon. Gannon throws nearly picked off by Woodson, intended for Horn, and we still are waiting word on Elvis Gerback. He has a bruised shoulder, and they're trying to diagnose it further.
Charles Woodson was picked on early in the football game, but since the second quarter, his level of play has come up to anybody he's gone after. Lockett before, now Horn. Now he almost makes a play on an interception. He is going to be something special in a hurry in this league.
Gannon unloads down the sideline, intended for Shedd, and guess who? Woodson right there. Or intended for Joe Horn.
That ball was thrown out of bounds. It wouldn't have made any difference because Woodson would have never been able to catch it in bounds. But this guy can cover. Charles Woodson, and earlier in the game, Joe, you showed where he was looking in the backfield. Now look at, he's got Horn, he's got him locked in. He sees Horn look for the ball. When Horn looks for the ball, it's his turn to turn and look at the ball.
He's very polished for a young corner.
3rd and 10 for Kansas City. Another blitz. Gannon throws sidearm. Gonzalez can't make the catch. And he was wrapped up in a hurry by Louis Riddick.
That's a good job by Willie Shaw's defense. That time, 3rd down and 10, you make the quarterback get rid of the ball in a hurry. He brings multiple backers, makes Rich Gannon unload the hot. Even if Gonzalez had caught it, it only would have been a 4-yard gain.
Desmond Howard will drop back to around the 15, awaiting the punt of Aguiar. Desmond Howard makes the fair catch after a punt of 41. It has been a crash course for the Heisman Trophy winner. And his grades have improved dramatically since the first quarter. We'll be back to Arrowhead after this. Tomorrow's headlines tonight, the Green Bay Packers extending their home win streak to 24, only 3 off the NFL record. Billy Joe Herbert, the bad news continues for New Orleans. He's out for the year. Manning loses, Leaf wins. The two quarterbacks that will be joined at the hip forever. We're back in Kansas City. An optimist would say you're down by 23. That's only 3 touchdowns and 3 two-point conversions. But that's a real optimist.
Yeah, and you're not playing in Kansas City or someplace else. I think the Raiders have to get something started. They have to get some kind of score on this drive.
And I think what they need to do is just try to get the ball downfield. And the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to allow them to do that because they're going to keep coming.
Kaufman trying to sweep. Pelham McDaniels slowed him down and then got in on the tackle.
It's got to be a sick feeling when you have a guy with Kaufman's speed and as good as he really is. When you try to get to the outside, Joe, and make the turn, and there are 5 red shirts from defense standing there looking at you. I mean, they're there before you get there.
It's not only a sickening feeling, but what it does is it just lends to the fact that Kansas City's linebackers can all run as fast as most backs in the league.
2nd and 10. Pressure on George. Tim Brown makes the catch behind him. Takes a header up just shy of the 30-yard line. Dale Carter with the tackle.
Tim Brown finally manages to get away on the line of scrimmage, quickly run right across the field. You're going to put the defensive back immediately behind you. In this case, it's Hasty. You wind up with an 11-yard gain.
First down just shy of the 30. Clock working. 5:45 to go, third quarter. George with time. Brown gets it to the 43. It will be another first down. Donnie Edwards and Dale Carter were there in the coverage.
First of all, let's take a look at Lincoln Kennedy, and he's trying to block on Derek Thomas, and this time he gets a pretty good block on him.
Tim Brown keeps his hands up in case the defender is too close. He gets a good release, stop, comes back, makes the play.
6 catches, 53 yards for another former Heisman winner. Comes the blitz. George with a screen to Kaufman. Napoleon Kaufman upended at midfield by Dale Carter, or that could have really broken long. What is very obvious about that Kansas City defense, whether they're blitzing or chasing a play, they are just so fast.
The thing that they have to be concerned with is by continuing to chase Napoleon Kaufman, they better be careful he doesn't start one left and wind up coming back against the grain because nobody's going to be home.
On 2nd and 2, Harvey Williams will get a carry and about a yard for his efforts.
Listen, the one thing about the Kansas City Chiefs defense, and it really is no secret to anyone, they have number 34 and number 40. They have 2 corners that can play man-to-man with anyone in the entire National Football League. You know, we talked to Tim Brown yesterday, and there's Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator, but Tim Brown said to us, these 2 guys are the greatest. One thing that he does not like about him is that he knows that as soon as he comes off the line of scrimmage, they have their hands on you right now.
And they have led the NFL in scoring defense 2 of the last 3 years. Dale Carter has limped to the sidelines. Right now they're throwing a shutout. Wow. 3rd and short, no chance. Stuffed by Ty Parton, the 4-year man out of Arizona. Harvey Williams never even got on track.
When you get 7 guys at the line of scrimmage and a safety, it's tough to be able to block everybody. And the 97 right there is going to fire right in the hole. There he is. Stand up. Good job right there. Everybody gets a man to block, and if you don't do your job, somebody's going to make a tackle.
Let us tell you the reason for the timeout right here. John Gruden is thinking about going for it. His team is already down 23-0. There's 3:19 to go in the 3rd quarter. You can't get hurt. I mean, you know, if you lose 40-0, it's no different.
I would like the call if Gruden goes for it. I think that if Gunther Cunningham on the other side of the ball, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, if he chooses to stay back, it'd be a problem. Al Davis, he just wants to see something positive. And
it's been a while, too.
And Gunther, I think if they choose to go, he's got to blitz him. He can't drop back into zones or else they're going to pick the first down up easy.
Well, you had third down in about 2 yards, and now you have fourth down in 4 yards. I would really think twice about going on fourth down against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't care if Dale Carter is not in the game.
I like the call, Paul.
I do, too. You're outvoted 2-1. We're going for it.
Well, the only vote that counts right here is Burton.
That's right.
Gary Thomas firing up 79,000.
Here they come.
Knocked down by Brooks, but there's a flag down. Brooks had a hand on him. It may be interference or an illegal chuck. That will be an automatic first down.
And let me just say this. That was an outstanding throw by Jeff George. That ball was right on target.
By the defense, number 45, before the pass was thrown. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Bucky Brooks, the converted wide receiver, trying to make a play, called for holding.
Bucky Brooks locked up one-on-one. Down here, you'll see him. They try and run the quick post. He grabs him. No can do.
Another life for the Raiders. George under pressure, got away from Davis and slides in safely at the 36.
All right, Pat Harlow, we talked about him. Joe, you talked about him trying to get vertical with Derek Thomas. Look at this. What he has to do, he told us yesterday, I have to get to a position to stop him from getting inside. He did it that time. He pushed Derek Thomas to the outside. Jeff George was able to run up inside. Jeff George all night long, all he's been seeing are red shirts coming at him.
All he's been doing is running for his life.
It's interesting, Ricky Dudley has not made a catch yet in this offense. Derek Thomas from behind, loose ball. It's picked up by Lincoln Kennedy. Lincoln Kennedy rumbling down the field. And Jeff George was hit on the arm by Thomas as he was trying to throw it and grimacing in pain.
Well, you know, this is the third time we saw one in an earlier game today and then two in this game where guys don't listen to a whistle.
I don't think you can hear the whistle in this stadium. Derek Thomas coming around the corner. Lawrence Taylor used to chop at the quarterback if he got a chance. The arm goes up. He comes in and just chops down on Jeff George's arm, and I think affects his elbow.
Kaufman goes straight up the middle inside the 5. Donald Hollis is the new quarterback as Jeff George will be tended to on the sideline, and he is in extreme pain.
Jeff George was throwing the football. You look at his arm. His arm is coming forward. Here to the backside. Derek Thomas is there. Watch his arm. Forward.
No, but the ball is out, though, Paul. The arm's coming forward, but the ball never moves forward.
And the ball has got to start forward. The bottom part of the arm doesn't count. That was close. Kaufman again. Inside the 4.
I'm not giving up. It's a forward pass.
Well, the main concern right now is what it did to Jeff George's elbow.
The thing is, guys, as a quarterback, when you start to throw, there is so much torque. It's like a catapult on your arm. And if you start forward and someone stops it, there are a lot of things that can pop, and that's the problem.
3rd and 4. Hollis, the backup quarterback, the 6-year man out of Rice, who looked so good in preseason, is in for Jeff George. Hollis to throw. Knocked away. Dudley got his hand on it twice. Woods was right there in coverage. This secondary has been remarkable.
You just go across the secondary, and you've got all 4 guys in Woods. I mean, this is just outstanding. He's got Dudley all by himself. Here's Woods. Dudley goes inside. Look at that. Move back to the inside. He did get his arm around him, but he let go, gets back inside, and knocks the ball away.
4th down. They'll go for it. 13th play of the drive. Hastings in trouble, throws, knocked down by Hastings. There is a flag down back at the 14, roughing the passer. A totally unnecessary play by Kansas City. They would have had the football. I don't think Marty Schottenheimer agrees with the call.
On both fourth down attempts by the Raiders in this drive, they've gotten penalty help.
Roughing the passer by the defense, number 50. Lowered his head, hit the quarterback with his head. After distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Anthony Davis called for the penalty, and Marty Schottenheimer is just livid.
Well, Anthony Davis, number 50, is who they called. They said he lowered his head. You know something? I agree with Marty. That is not a good. This is a football game. Guys have to hit guys. It isn't two-hand touch.
A quarter to go here in Kansas City. Solomon Wilcots has an update on Jeff George. Solomon.
Yeah, Mike, I'm told that Jeff George hyperextended his right elbow. Now, that is his throwing arm. However, I am also told that Jeff George wants back into the game, and he's going to get his wish. They're going to send him back in.
All right, Solomon, thanks very much for chasing that down on the sideline. The initial report on Elvis Gerbach, a bruised right shoulder. We have not had an update since then. He is continuing to be examined. 1st and 10, Kansas City. Donnell Bennett, who had a big first half, hit at the line of scrimmage and slammed to the ground. Richard Harvey just picked up a week ago from New Orleans. He has had a nice game defensively for the Raiders.
A thing to keep in mind, Willie Shaw was a defensive back coach in New Orleans. He comes here as a coordinator. He's going to want guys that know his defense, know where they're supposed to be, and can help other guys. So Harvey's almost like a coach on the field for Willie.
He's got 4 starters on this team now that have played for him at other venues. That's what you go to, guys you have trusted in the past and you know can play. Gannon flushed out of the pocket. Great runner. And he slides in safe, just shy of a first down inside the 45.
Last year, Rich Gannon carried the ball 33 times in a very limited span of playing time. He is a much better runner than Elvis Gerbach and really will create some problems for this Oakland defense. He looks down the field. Now, you see him pull it down. There's no hesitation. Now he knows he wants to be a runner. Does a nice job of protecting the ball. Sees he's picked up enough. Now, protect yourself.
When he came out of Delaware, there are a lot of teams that wanted to draft him other than a quarterback. They thought he was such a good athlete. He might be able to play wide receiver, defensive back. Some people even talked about running back.
He said absolutely not. He said, right. I'm going to play. I'm playing as a quarterback. Don't even think about moving me.
You know, and the way he has accepted his role. You know, I was doing games when Bono was here and he took over for him and he just benched Bono. He was really upset about it because he knew he was in a backup situation, but he went in and did the job. He knows that he knows this offense. I'm saying when Elvis Gerbach goes down, they don't lose a lot.
Oh, he proved that last year, going 5-1 of those 6 starts.
Well, you look at the guys who've been hurt in this week 1. How many backups finished games?
Well, it's 8 starting quarterbacks that have been hurt this week. 3rd and inches. And they give it to Richardson, the up man. He has it easily. First down, Kansas City. When we're done here, SportsCenter will come your way. Dan Patrick and Kenny Mayne. And they will bring you up to date on the return of Jerry Rice. And we will take a look at chasing history with McGuire and Sosa. And the Sunday night conversation with John Elway, who was trying to come back for an encore after the brilliant finish to last year. A lot of people wanted to just see him ride off in the sunset. John wants to do it again. Fake the end around and knocked away by Turner. The pass was intended for Kimball Anders.
Boy, Eric Turner that time. Kimball Anders, they run a fake reverse, and Kimball Anders is going down the sideline. Eric Turner just reads the play, stays at home, and does exactly what he is supposed to do. Watch this play by number 42. Man, hit him right in the face.
Well, that's why he's a free safety. He's still working on those free hands.
He is the only holdover in the secondary. They drafted Woodson, got Newman from New Orleans, got Eric Allen from New Orleans. The defense has acquitted itself very well tonight. Here comes the blitz. They don't get there. Gannon throws to the sideline, and it's incomplete past the outstretched hands of Kevin Lockett. Of course, Richie Gannon is unable to use Andre Rison because he's out with an aggravated hamstring, and Derek Alexander did not even dress for this game because he has a rib injury. He might miss another game.
Which really, in Rich Gannon's position, it helps him. And you know why?
Because he's worked with those guys?
In training camp, he's worked with these guys a lot more than he's worked with Rison or Alexander. So for the unit that's out there, it's a plus for the Kansas City offense.
Danon Hughes comes in now, and Gannon is going to have to use a timeout. They only have one left. 23-8, back after this. Beautiful fountains here in Kansas City, and a magnificent stadium, Arrowhead, and an exceptional football team. Russell jumps offside.
Third down and long. Again, a Kansas City quarterback thinking on the field, try and pick up 5 cheap yards. Now you got what really is considered a much more convertible third down.
Other defense, number 96, 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
That's about the only thing Darrell Russell has done wrong tonight, as they move him back inside this year to a tackle spot. He said playing it in last year really threw off his technique. Almost a wasted year for him.
You see the way Gruden looked out on the field?
Yeah,
I wouldn't like to have him look at me like that.
He might be a young coach, but he's got a stare. Look at that stare. He stares down guys right now.
And he has the respect of his players at age 35.
Look at that, Paulie.
I'm telling you.
Third and 5. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up beautifully. The throw underneath, complete to Lockett. Got a block downfield from Danon Hughes to pick up some extra yards. A gain of 17.
Joe, this all starts with the blocking up front, but look at number 38, the fullback, Kimball Anders. We've talked about him before in this ball game. He's going to step up. He's right behind the quarterback. Look, watch number 38 step up and take the linebacker, or the back coming in. Look at this block. It's absolutely perfect.
Lockett, they expect big things from him. He gained 12 pounds in the offseason, had a lot of trouble with defensive backs muscling him a year ago. Donnell Bennett back in at running back on 1st and 10. Bennett hit in the backfield. Beekert shot the gap and made the tackle.
Greg Beekert, the linebacker, look at this. He's not even going after the quarterback, Joe. He just sees the draw coming, him going after the back.
It will be 2nd and 13. Caught at the 3. Gannon had it just off the fingertips of Kevin Lockett.
We talked about the defense being on the field so much. Beekert that time has to go back into coverage. It's one thing to be a linebacker continually going after the quarterback, but you get a lot more tired trying to drop back all the time. This pass is just a little bit out front too far. Over Turner's head, and Lockett can't quite pull it in. Just a near miss.
That makes it 3rd and 13. Gannon sidearms it complete to Kimball Anders, and Anders is down to the 16-yard line. Realistically, a field goal can put it out of reach. It would make it 26-8.
But this is really a heads-up play by the quarterback, Rich Gannon. I mean, he's not going to take any chances. First of all, I'm not going to get sacked to take us out of field goal position. And second of all, I'm going to throw the ball to the shortest open guy that I can find.
Wait a second. Were you the same guy a few weeks ago that said, I can't believe that he threw the ball short when he's got 13 yards to pick up?
Depends on field position and what you want to do with it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Stoyanovich has hit 3 of 4. With a long of 48, this one will be from 33 yards out of the hole of Aguilar. Pete Stoyanovich has hit 4 of 5 tonight. And the Kansas City Chiefs extend their lead to 18. Kansas City is known as the city of fountains. There are more fountains here than any place in the world except Rome, Italy. They're a little short on Italian restaurants, but it's a beautiful city. Another booming kick, and Howard goes 5 yards deep into the end zone. The Raiders start at their own 20, where they have started every drive in the second half. George with a screen pass to Kaufman. Jeff George back in at quarterback.
Derek Thomas just continues to bring a lot of pressure on a quarterback, and there's a couple different ways you can block him. Talking to Pat Harlow, you want to try and beat him to a spot. In this particular case, he gets back, does a good job on Derek because he beat him to a spot. The next one, Derek Thomas gets to his spot before Harlow can get there. The result, incompleted pass because of pressure.
In the flat to Williams. He's got Woods to beat and does for a first down. Out of bounds to 31. Derek Thomas, 4 sacks, which puts him into the top 10 all-time. 5 tackles, 5 more pressures, and forced a fumble.
When I talked to him yesterday, he said that, hey, look, I got my eye on the sack record. Well, he's got a pretty good leg up on it right now.
George under pressure again. Steps up and throws. Dudley juggled the ball, finally held on in Kansas City territory at the 46. James Hasty took him out, a gain of 23.
Whatever happened to Jeff George's arm, it doesn't seem like it's too much of a problem because Ricky Dudley is in double coverage right now at this point. He releases off the ball. Hasty's playing him outside. Davis has him inside, and that ball still gets in there with a lot of zip.
With zip is the right word. That thing was on a string. Harvey Williams trying to get outside. Nothing there but red shirts. Hasty racing up from the corner.
Yeah, but you talk about Derek Thomas rushing the passer. Then you look at him on a run play like this one here. He is blocked in the backfield. He's the guy that forces the runner to go to the outside. And then watch what happens. Watch what he does. Watch who makes the tackle. Gets rid of the fullback, Richie. Harvey Williams cuts back in. Hasty is there, but Derek Thomas is back to the outside.
Derek Thomas said before the season they could be 16-0. And he hasn't backed off. All-out blitz. Derek Thomas with another sack. He got there at the same time as Leslie O'Neal. Holy
Pat
cow.
Harlow had no chance. And you know what happened on this? Pat Harlow said to us yesterday, the one thing about Derek Thomas is this. Once he turns the corner and he leans, he picks up speed. Watch this.
He got there before O'Neal.
Yeah, Jeff George, 2-step, 3-step, 5-step. I don't care what step.
You're absolutely right. He does a terrific job, Paul, of anticipating the snap. You'd swear he's offsides half the time, but he's really not. He just is moving on the ball, and the lineman can't.
That is a single game record. 7 sacks. That was his 6th tonight. George in trouble again.
Delay of game by the offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Derek Thomas with 5 sacks tonight, as I was trying to say, holds the single game record with 7 in one game in his career.
I did that game. It was against Seattle, and you know something, Mike? He could have had 9. He missed him twice, the quarterback.
He might get to 9 before this is over. George with a personal word to Dudley. Another blitz. Thomas just missed him. George goes down. He is sacked again, and he didn't like the way he was kneed by Donnie Edwards. Donnie Edwards roughed him up after the play, and there's a flag down, and this rivalry just gets more bitter every time you turn around.
Well, Jeff George is not going to back down from anybody. More frustration probably than anything.
Donnie Edwards appeared to put a little extra into that. Derek Thomas, after he missed the initial sack, stayed down on the ground. He appeared to be injured.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the defense, throwing an arm at the quarterback's head. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
They want to protect quarterbacks from getting hit in the head. George is scrambling around, trying to find some place to go.
There's no call for what Edwards did at the end of that, but I certainly didn't see him going for the quarterback's head.
I think the knee in the back is basically what caused it, and then Davis comes in to just keep the thing going.
Tom Flores knows this rivalry well. He works the radio for the Raiders. George got it to Ritchie. Loose ball. Ritchie falls on it. And they're going to call it incomplete.
The interesting thing about Tom Flores, you know, he got his first Super Bowl ring as a player with the Kansas City Chiefs. So he was a backup quarterback with the Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl against Minnesota. And here he is calling the game for the Raiders on radio. He not only played for the Raiders, coached the Raiders, but played here.
Well, he's going to come out on top of this one way or another.
Yeah, but I think his heart is with the Raiders.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
2nd and 10. And George wants to talk about it. Down 26-8. Back in a moment. 7 minutes left at Arrowhead. The Chiefs on top of the Raiders, 26-8. Quarterbacks are a focus in this rivalry. It has been another tough night for signal callers. Jeff George with a wicked hit near the end of the half, and then hurts his elbow in the second half. No quarter asked, none given.
You deserve a little bit of an extra medal to play quarterback in this game.
8 times the quarterbacks for the Raiders have gone down, and Derek Thomas being tended to on the sideline. They're working on his thumb or his finger.
And you got to know he wants to be on the field.
Well, he's got 5 sacks. Here comes the blitz again, and Jeff George will go down again. Tom Barnt led the charge from his nose tackle spot, the converted offensive guard a year ago.
You know, the thing about this whole thing, you see Jeff George is walking back, and I mean, he's upset. All he has been able to see all night long are not white shirts downfield, but red shirts in his face.
Jeff George was sacked a league-high 58 times last year. This new offense was supposed to help prevent that. He's been sacked 9 times tonight.
Holding by the offense, number 74. The penalty is declined. Brings up 3rd down.
One of the problems you run into as an offensive line and what is trying to figure out where everybody's coming from. You make a decision. Bart, number 71, just bowls Graham over and heads his way right into George.
He was held, taken down, and still got there. 3rd and 18. Quick pass almost picked off. Would have been a touchdown for James Hasty. He read the pattern and stepped in. He just couldn't hold it.
Joe, James Hasty has done everything he could possibly do as a defensive back tonight, and he deserved this touchdown.
George sets. Hasty's got it read. And that look of frustration at the end is, I knew I had one. I just knew it.
30 career interceptions. That would have been 31. Danon Hughes, back at the 25, awaits the punt of Araguz. 6:32 to go in the game. It's a beauty this time. Hughes from the 13. And loses yardage on the return. 53-yard punt from Leo Araguz. The swarming Kansas City Chiefs defense has racked up 9 sacks tonight. Kansas City, Missouri on a sweltering September evening, the opening of the NFL season between the Raiders and the Chiefs. Beautiful downtown Kansas City. And Arrowhead Stadium still looks like it was built 6 months ago. Now the Chiefs would like to work in on the clock behind Rich Gannon. Donnell Bennett picks up a couple. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive networks for primetime NFL football. And this is Donnell Bennett breaking one straight up through the Oakland Raiders defense for 21 yards.
That is impressive blocking by the offensive line because the Raiders know they're going to try to run the football to keep the clock going. But look at the hole in the middle of this line. Bernard makes an excellent block. They get outstanding. Shields, number 68, makes a terrific block. And then almost breaks it. But look what he does at the end. Watch him protect this ball. He gets in. He's going to get hit. He protects the football. And the clock is moving.
This Raider defense has to be exhausted at this point in the fourth quarter. Bennett. Another good block by Anderson. Donnell Bennett running hard across the 40 to the 41. This guy is 6 feet 235. He has never been a halfback before. He was a fullback at Miami. Drafted as a fullback.
Well, in the offseason, he decided to lose 16 pounds because he realized he was going to be asked to carry the ball a lot more. The biggest challenge he's had has been learning the pass routes, but he certainly has mastered the ability to hit it up inside as a running back.
See the arms in that guy?
Yeah, I was going to say, he didn't lose any weight in his arms. Look like you, Paul.
Oh, yeah, really. I mean, he has got some huge arms.
Time working against the Raiders. 4:13 to go. 2nd and 3. Kimball Anders. Darrell Russell stepped up and drilled it.
The only problem with Kimball Anders, he can't block for himself. Donnell Bennett was to the outside. Kimball Anders is the only guy back there. When they hand him the ball, Russell just nails him.
Now it's a gap style of defense. Number 67 is going to go right through the seam. Actually, it's going to be right there. You're going to see that one.
Third and 4. Gannon throws in the flat. Kimball Anders and slipped out of bounds shy of the first down marker.
You know, I really like Kimball Anders in this offense. He is probably one of the most unselfish players that you'll ever meet. I mean, he's been to the Pro Bowl, but here's a guy who knows his first assignment is to block. His second assignment is to catch the football. And thirdly, he gets a chance once in a while to run the ball.
Last 4 years, he was second only to Larry Sanders with 241 catches, has 5 tonight. And Desmond Howard retreats to his 15. in hopes of a big punt return. Beautiful kick by Aguiar. Holy cow. And Howard goes all the way into the end zone to field. And takes a rip. Richardson downfield just destroyed him.
Whatever the Raiders paid for Desmond Howard, they overpaid grossly because he has committed some incredible mistakes. All you do is have to return punts. The rule is if you return punts, if the ball goes past the 10-yard line, don't go field it. I don't think Desmond Howard knows where he is on the football field. He catches that at the goal line. He shouldn't be anywhere near it.
And after this, he doesn't know where he is at all. Frank Gans Jr. has had one of those nights you would rather just forget as a special teams coach. George throws on the run behind Tim Brown. Raider mistakes doomed them from the beginning. 5 fumbles. They have given up 9 sacks, 11 penalties for 97 yards, and they missed 2 field goals. You take away half those mistakes, they're in this ballgame.
Some of the penalties were very crucial. 1 brought back a touchdown, 2 brought back big plays.
And 1 penalty set up a touchdown. Tough debut for John Gruden. It will certainly get better for him. He is a brilliant young coach. Harvey Williams on the draw. Out near a first down at the 30. The thing that is impressive about the Raiders tonight and under John Gruden and defensive coordinator Willie Shaw is you see none of the quit that was evident in them a year ago. George throws complete to the 40. Tim Brown with another catch, and it looks like another first down. There's a marker down back at the 14. Another hold. This will come back.
Holding by the offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Tim Wisniewski, the 7-time Pro Bowler.
Quite often when offensive linemen get caught holding, it's because they've gotten tired and they don't get their feet in good positions, so they reach out and grab people. In this offense, as quick as Jeff George is getting rid of the football, you really shouldn't have a lot of holding penalties.
12 flags tonight, 107 yards against the Raiders. And this sellout crowd of 79,000 has enjoyed every single second of it. Screen to Harvey Williams. Leslie O'Neal hustles after the play and makes the tackle. Simmons also got a piece of it.
Well, you look at those first 3 miscues. First of all, Desmond Howard on a kickoff return. Actually, he was down and it shouldn't have been a fumble. And then there were 2 other fumbles that they ended up the Kansas City Chiefs getting 13 points out of that. Now they're moving. You're right. They're tired.
Been a tough night for Pat Harlow. Although in his defense, a lot of those sacks are 3- and 5-step drops. He did a pretty good job against Derek Thomas. When Jeff George couldn't find anybody to throw to, that's when they got in trouble.
I mean, you can't take it away from Derek Thomas.
Oh, no.
Against one of the great pass rushers in this game. I don't care who's blocking him.
But Pat Harlow did a pretty good job, it appeared. You'd have to go back and look at the films, but, you know, he's going to do his job out there. So is Derek Thomas. The officials talking this one over for a long time to decide who moved. And now they're going to call a personal foul.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the defense, number 84. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Can't be 84. That's
Correction,
Joe Horn, the wide
correction.
receiver. Yeah, let's have a correction.
No 84 out.
Correction. The personal foul was on the offense. Both fouls will be enforced.
Kenny Shedd So they moved early and then had a personal foul on top of it.
Both fouls will be enforced, so that'll be
20 yards
and 15. That's 20 more add on to that, baby.
Now start counting on your other hand. Now go ahead. You're getting close. Go ahead.
Put my shoes off.
Yeah. Wow. So it ends up being half the distance to the goal, back to the 12. They've got to get to the 30 for a first down. 14 penalties, 119 yards. Wow. The fans that are left on their feet. It's a safety. Derek Thomas with another sack. Count them, 6 sacks and a safety for the All-Pro.
One of the goals that Gunther Cunningham wanted for his defense was to take Jeff George out of his rhythm. The way you do that is to be a relentless pass rusher. You can't blame Harlow for that one. That's Jeff George's fault.
Derek Thomas and Pat Harlow have gone at it all night. Thomas, who had 9.5 sacks a year ago, all season, has 6 tonight against the Raiders. This might be Jeff George, you think? They fired enough arrows at him tonight.
And a lot of them have landed, you're right.
Joe Horn is back to take the free kick. They'll punt it away. Araguz. Horn bobbles it to 15.
Derek Thomas, before this play even happened, look at Derek Thomas. He makes the safety sign. He's right there. This is before the play, folks. And here he comes. Brown Harlow, I agree with you, Joe. I think this is Jeff George's fault. Watch this. He makes a sack, and then he gets up and makes the safety sign one more time.
Marty Schottenheimer, the former all-star linebacker with the Pitt Panthers on their all-time team.
What he's saying to him is, don't you ever get hurt.
Again. 6 sacks. Give him 12 tackles, a safety, and a forced fumble. It's not a bad night's work. And this is just one game. And now they'll just work on the clock. The best thing that can happen to the Raiders is this thing ends in a hurry and they get on the plane and go back to Oakland.
Well, Mike, in truth, their offense in spots looked pretty darn good for the first time being in it under a new coaching system. Their defense was stuck on the field all night. They just wore down. I mean, John Gruden will have something to build from. I know he can't be happy. He's extremely disappointed. But there is something to build from for his football team in this game.
Donnell Bennett just protecting the football, crosses the 15 to the 16. The last time the Oakland Raiders won in Arrowhead Stadium, Tim Brown was a rookie out of Notre Dame, 1988. Last year they lost 30-0. This year they are losing 28-8. And the Raiders take a timeout.
Joe, yesterday you were talking to the players, the Raiders, and you kept saying to these guys, how much is it a noise factor here that bothers them? And they said, well, it's the team that bothers them.
It's the team that bothers them. And all through training camp, John Gruden has played crowd noise at a loud decibel, trying to duplicate what his players would experience here, asking them to communicate with all the noise. The only problem he had in training camp is he didn't have anybody like Derek Thomas rushing his quarterback so Pat Harlow could work on trying to block him. He may change his hair tomorrow and go into hiding.
Well, the other thing, too, is when you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, what they did when they were the most effective is when they put 8 men up in that box. and now you got to put one guy to block Derek Thomas. And I don't know of anybody in the league that can do that.
And they can certainly afford to do that because of that tremendous secondary. They can play man-to-man against anybody.
Napoleon Kaufman managed to break off a few big runs tonight, but a couple of them came back because of penalties.
The Chiefs certainly going to be concerned about the absence of some of their stars. Chester McLaughlin was already out with minor back surgery yesterday. They're not sure when he will return. Elvis Gerbach with a bruised shoulder tonight. Zott was also injured tonight. Andre Rison aggravated a hamstring. So it will not be all cream and strawberries for Marty Schottenheimer. Derek Alexander was already out with bad ribs. And John Browning, the other defensive end with McLaughlin, was injured and out. And still, with all those injuries and all those missing in action, they come up big 28-8.
Yeah, but I mean, when you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, and you've talked for years and years and years, the one thing you talk about is their defense. And you've got two corners, Hasty and Carter, that could sit out there and play man-to-man with anyone.
Aguiar to punt it away with 37 seconds to go in the game. Raiders show punt block, and they come after him, and Aguiar, nice job to get it out of there. Fair catch made it to 32. A 42-yard punt and no return. Now, if you're John Gruden and Jeff George, you just go out there and hand it off and get it over with?
No. Not because neither one of these guys will ever give up and stop fighting, and I respect that. I think they'll throw the football. I think they'll try and get something going. They're still working on developing this football team. I think by giving up, you don't develop anything.
You know, they would have taken 2 timeouts going down. They took a timeout before the punt. They took a timeout to play before that to take a knee.
Well, you know, Derek Thomas wants him to throw. He could tie his own NFL record with another sack. And they'll give it to Williams on the draw. Bart just slings him to the ground. And then Bart is hit by Barrett Robbins. You can bet they're all thinking about the rematch already.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the offense, number 63, 15-yard penalty.
And now Bart and Robbins wolfing at each other. 15 penalties, 134 yards. Bart with the tackle. Robbins didn't like the way he did it. Gives him a shove. And it'll cost him 15. The rematch is the day after Christmas. They are not going to be exchanging gifts unless you consider a forearm a gift.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Now I'm going to kill you.
You know, you can make all you want to make out of it, but you legitimately have two teams that truly dislike each other. And I mean, they really do. Marty Schottenheimer told me, I said, you know, there was things said that you dislike Oakland with the Raiders. Why? He says, when I retire, then I'll tell you why.
And I don't think that's going to happen in the near future. So we'll have to wait for that.
Marty Schottenheimer's ball club made a big statement tonight in this opening win. And he finally gets a chance to smile. He's got to be pleased with Donnell Bennett. Quick pass underneath to Tim Brown. And Hasty wraps him up, and people really going after each other. Holy cow. Clock running. The Raiders are out of timeouts. Our final score, the Chiefs 28, the Raiders 8. Coming up next, SportsCenter, Dan Patrick and Kenny Mean they'll have the complete wrap-up of the day in sports. For Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Solomon Wilcox, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from Arrowhead in Kansas City. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
They have been meeting annually for the past 39 years, but the Raiders and Chiefs haven't squared off in the season opener since 1980. That season, the Raiders beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. That season, John Gruden was 17 years old. On Sunday night on ESPN, the NFL's youngest head coach made his debut with the Raiders in Kansas City. Coach Gruden looks a little like Steve Kerr of the Bulls. First quarter, Chiefs up 7-0. Elvis Grbac to Andre Rison. They tested Charles Woodson and lived to tell about it. Elvis is pumped. Woodson bummed. 14-0 Chiefs. 5 minutes and 38 seconds in. Jeff George, a long night. Getting to know Leslie O'Neal. George hurting, but he would return in the second half. Last play of the first half, Chiefs up 20-0. Elvis Grbac is nailed. Left with a bruised right shoulder. Raiders down 23-0. Derek Thomas putting pressure on George. Thomas hacks George. Fourth quarter, Raiders on their own 8. And Derek Thomas already with 5 sacks. And he's looking for more. In fact, he wants a sack and he wants a safety. Blows by Pat Harlow and Al Davis. It was a long night. Al probably couldn't have much to say during the game. Probably had a lot to say after the game. 28-8 the final in this one. Kansas City with 10 sacks on the evening. Thomas has 6, 1 short of the NFL record of 7 that he had against Seattle in 1990. George, wasn't his fault. He had plenty of company in the backfield. 19 of 31, 270 yards. Chiefs have owned the Raiders this decade, now 16-2.